Welcome. If you're joining us, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. For the ill-fated, coming into
Woo.
edition 29.
Boo, 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 ill-fated.
All right, that's great.
Last session,
I
really
think so.
proving that group name.
Oh god, it
It's on
just
point. Yeah.
Okay. So, what did we do on our session 28? Right. What we do last week? Well, we had spent a good amount of time
Oh,
with the Muckluck. All right. The frog people. And we had made an agreement with the frog people to help them and attempt to we wanted the stone, right? So based on what Trisha had stated was make an agreement to kill the lizard folk, because the lizard folk are like their enemies, and because there's some of them are corrupted, if not the majority of them, it becomes a very easy deal. Just kill them as we go, collect bones, whatever it is, and that fulfill. But regardless of that, you became like warriors of the frog people. That's really what it was. They're like telling basically like warriors, warriors, right? Kill the lizard folk kind of thing. And you all just kind of paraded out of there with this piece. Now, the black gemstone, in terms of what you all have experienced with Tegan and the white gemstone, is that you have recovered the same amount of pieces. And the shape of the object, as well as the consistency of the object, is eerily similar to that of Tegan's stone, showcasing more magical awareness about it, coloration of light traversing through the structure. All very eerily similar, just different colors, different sorts of effects. So, feels at that point, based information, that you might have finished that. Now, I'm not saying there might not be more, but we have enough evidence to kind of work off of that we might have completed it. Okay. So you all decided to leave the Muckluck at night. And really, this was to fight the bat, maybe, the hunter at night, the creature of night. And on your way heading south, aim towards the Ivrai, as well as one of the towers. There was kind of a joint adventure here, kind of making continue your full circle here of the marshes. We were ambushed. Not just by the shadowy lizard folk, but also of the bat, which referred to it as Nightwing, now named. In this fight, which lasted quite a decent amount of time, Nightwing had slain one of your party, killed them outright, turning them into an undead creature. Varys, while this was happening, your soul was brought to the Shadowfell. You were in Orsivis's domain, and there you would be trapped, kept by the King of Dreams, potentially for eternity. You made a deal. That's where we ended. We didn't really go into anything else in terms of what discussing that deal with the party. It's really kind of, we're going to pick it up really where Varys is awake now and alive, so that way the rest of the party who wasn't here can get involved with that experience. And Varys, I don't think I need to tell you what that deal is. I think you could probably remember what it was. So just go ahead and start.
No, run it back. I'm sorry.
Let's start some sound, just some ambiance here. And then while I get the ambience situated, you're going to notice your vision is limited. So there is a way to make vision limited. And so I've limited to 30 feet based on the total concealment of the fog that's around you, which is something I can do with the maps. I thought about doing it previously for the other engagement, but it was it's kind of cheesy because you can't see any of the light sourcing really on the exterior, which doesn't make much sense because normally you would see points of light and fog. So for the sake of it, I put the vision limiter because we're no longer in combat, right? So I just went ahead and reference how much the concealment would actually be for your points of vision.
Well, I missed all the fun.
I mean, I gladly would have switched places with you. You can go talk to a deity in the Shadowfell if you want.
He kind of always did that.
Pretty sure I've already done that.
Done that.
And an eternity passed by.
How about you all stop going and visiting dark deities in random other planes and things? Seems problematic.
Didn't you do that twice?
I suppose. Maybe we should all stop doing it.
That
Starting to
was
think-
going to be my suggestion.
Starting
Does
to
the
think
sun
Bane
tree
was
count?
right.
No, it's not dark.
The Sun Tree doesn't count.
No more
I agree.
deities. Just no more deities.
That
That
is how
does
I've been
sound like a
feeling
good
as of
idea.
late.
Does anyone need some healing? I know you guys got pretty fucked up.
I
be-
need to
the
go
la-
to bed.
The last time you tried to heal Varys, you burned him.
Yes, but well, one way to find out.
Please do not kill Varys again. We can just rest. We can relax.
I mean, I suppose it's
Uh,
good to know that he's not still undead.
Yeah,
Hold still, pal.
I'd like to know for sure. I'd also really fucking hurting.
Yeah, bet. So, yeah, I'm kind of with the idea of taking a short rest, and I can, if need be, I can top anyone off health wise.
No, dude, I want to go to bed. Like, I want a full 8 hours.
For a week.
You could also
So,
do that and pop up the hut.
I suppose the next question is, where are we going?
Oh man.
Yeah, and what are we doing?
So, Tegan, as you move over to your party member Varys here, provide some healing. Seems like the wounds on your skin, your flesh, and also the lacerations begin to heal.
Thank you,
Dude,
Tegan.
There you go.
And he catches fire.
He
Guys,
dies.
I think I might not be undead.
I
Before
deal
we
23
do
points of damage to
anything,
him,
though,
and he dies.
Maldor,
That would
what
be the most
happened
damage Tegan's ever
after
done.
I died.
We
Sorry, Tegan.
Listen.
we slayed the bat.
Yeah, it was like touch and go for a bit, and then all of a sudden we just fucked that shit up. Or rather, those two did.
You seem to play a rather important part, judging by the destruction of the tree. That or the bat just fell out of the sky. One or the two.
Yes, no. Zombie Varys was key in bringing the beast down to where we could attack it.
One could say he was more useful than the Bear of Light. No.
That sounds like prejudice. After the battle was finished, I put you down. The assumption being that Zev could bring you back if we ended whatever was put upon you. But that did not seem to be the case.
I mean, it makes sense to me. You can't bring someone back if they're undead, so...
That was the thinking. And we were
And-
pushed for time.
Since he did die and come back, does he have the whole levels of exhaustion thing?
As far as being exhausted from this?
Yeah,
From the
since he was
experience, yeah.
brought back by deities, yeah, I guess, or is that rather than my magic?
Yeah, I mean, Varys, you feel exhausted. I'm not going to apply the condition. I think it's
Yeah.
a little redundant, but yeah, you feel exhausted.
You mentioned a deal with Orsivus when you awoke. What exactly were the terms and conditions that may apply?
If I'm remembering it 100% correctly, it was that the undead would stop their attacks on the fort and the rest of our people if I agreed not to harm Grugash. And that
So
once we leave the marshes, we don't come back.
we or you?
I mean, I don't think the deal was beholden to y'all.
Yeah. Which I mean, I don't think it really matters a whole lot because us trying to go against Grugash without you seems like it would be rather difficult anyway.
Probably be problematic, yes.
Yeah. So whether the technicality is irrelevant anyway, but
Well, the
yeah.
technicality I'm wondering is because since we had come in here to cross off people off of Thanos' hit list, if I tell the dragon to leave, do I still break the deal?
I mean,
Is
I
it
don't-
worth the risk?
No,
no.
I don't think it's worth the risk. I just got
Then-
brought back. That would be such a dumb
Then we
situation.
leave
to be-
Grugash for last.
I mean, I guess it really depends on what Orspis defines as harming, whether that's direct or indirect. Probably both.
Well, it's also,
Yeah.
even if we manage to avoid Grugash, would he consider eliminating his other people a violation of the same agreement?
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Grugash and Lady Trillia are pretty close. If we kill Lady Trillia, Grugash is not going to be happy. And he may seek us out himself, at which point Varys will have to defend himself and thus break the agreement.
I mean, my instinct is dealing with Lady Trillia would probably be fine at least in terms of the deal. I don't know that 100%, but that is my instinct.
As Trisha comes out from the fog work at this point. Is everything okay?
Relatively speaking, everyone's
Yes.
alive.
The Howler will not harass you any longer.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do I notice anything weird about her? Any injuries or anything that may stand out now that she's kind of approached?
Passive perception wise or investigation doesn't seem to have any injuries at all. They're kind of muddy. Maybe they've been hiding in some of the murk things. Insight wise, they don't have anything telling you that they would be lying. There's no ticks, nothing looking in the eyes, recalling memories, and they also seem to be distressed.
Convenient timing.
I think
mean, at this point, I don't know if staying here is even a good idea. Unless there's like some things y'all really want to get done here.
we continue to the Ivrai because we're already so close. We may as well check it out on our way out. But after that, I think we have kind of three options that have been presented to us.
Okay.
First one is I can take some time with the map and try to figure out where the map that we saw in Othema was, and we can go see what Damodar was interested in since it was somewhere in this direction. I just don't know where exactly on the map it was. Second option, we continue southwest towards the coastline and see if we can find a way across to, what was it, the Island of the Blessed, I think is what?
Well, Magello told us to go.
Yes. Or the third is we turn around, we go back to Fort Farron, we let them know that there will be no more attacks, and we take our carriage and head towards the dwarves and try to figure out this silver dragon situation and then the gold dragon down further south towards, what was it, the Crystal Desert? Lucar, you're more familiar with that, I think. You're the one that had the conversation with the gold dragon, right?
Yeah. Did I?
I think it was
Yeah.
the priestess at Othema that was telling us about.
Oh, was it the
No,
priestess?
it was the spirits that I talked to.
Or the spirits. Yeah, I know somebody. You talk to somebody. Something.
Somebody, some deity.
There's so many people here. I just
Yes. Well, all I know is they're sending us to that Dragonborn clan, the one that I've never heard
Belknap.
of.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you know.
since we're
Oh, the
so
gold
close
drag.
to the coast, maybe we just go down and see if we can find a way to get to the Isle of the Blessed, and if not, we can make our decision from there.
How?
Because I'm really
how-
interested to see what Magella was trying to push us towards.
Do we know roughly, like ballpark, how long it would take to get to the Isle of Blessed, assuming we found the boat? 'Cause I don't know the.
well, there's also no cities over here, which is kind of the other issue. We'd have to
Yeah.
make
That's
our
also
own.
I'm hearing I think a lot of different things in terms of like what we should do. Like,
Yeah, we're trying to
So-
spitball here.
spitball. We're really running through trying to fulfill whatever bargain there is. All right, tee it up for a second, everybody. Time out. We can't do this.
We're trying to
anymore.
lawyer him.
Let's lawyer it up. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So-
what it feels like.
We got a lot of
Realm
points
of-
of interest. Let's you do them
let's-
all.
Yeah, so realm of possibilities of things. Isle of the Blessed. I heard the name drop of Isle of the Blessed. So one of the issues with your current location is you don't have a method of transportation to the Isle of the Blessed, right? So you, even if you were able to get back canoe wise or kind of get into a small boat, you have to cross a massive bay, opening of that bay, and a sea to get over to the Isle of the Blessed, which is something that a small class of ship is not able to do.
Yeah.
Right. So you would need multiple sails. It would have to be sturdy enough for rough seas being battered. And then also we would potentially have a Taltharian blockade. So those are all kind of stacked too. Now,
Yeah, we can match measure them.
We
the
can just steal one of
coastline-
their ships.
and the north side of the bay is very rocky and large bluffs. In fact, they reach upwards of 200 to 300 feet into the air. So that provides a natural enclosure to the bay from the rough seas from the west side, as well as the marshes that you're currently in, right? You're not being battered by this massive wind that just kind of comes over the landscape, right, where you're currently at. So there must be some terrain that's blocking that, and that is the coastline that is on the west side of this continent, just massive bluffscape. It's rough, it's large, and that's creating that protection from the wind and the onslaught of the weather. That's something that natural you'd be able to figure out and kind of fulfill that. Not really need to make a check. So to get a boat, you'd have to figure out, what's the next step for that, get across the bay, and then the blockade, and yada yada yada. Okay, so that's that possible situation. We could also just simply go back to Fort Farron and go check on what's happening in Ismar, because you do have a little bit of information on that region, some of the intricate things that are happening there. It's not great. So we can just kind of go to Ismar and see what's going on, right? And also begin to head to the capital, right? You can always go to Beelder and try to get an audience with the king and be like, what the fuck is going on, right? Or simply try to figure out why and its information further. Even Alathan would be a resource of information.
And the information we got is that Magello is the magister to the king.
In Beelder.
So you
Mate.
could literally just go to the capital city and be like, we're going to go beat this fucker, see what's going on.
Yeah.
That's all entirely up to you, right? It's a living, breathing world. All your actions have consequences of what you do. Things will work and do what they will. And as has been demonstrated, there is now a wrench inside of your plan because of your party's actions and everything you've done. So you just have to kind of identify what we want to do next, and then how big of a wrench do we want this to be, right? So there's other things to explore in the marshes. There's these cultures and these connections and things, and well, you're working through it right now. That's all. That's my spiel. You're welcome.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
The capital really doesn't sound like a bad idea.
The last time we had an audience with a noble type, it didn't end well.
Whose
Well, I
fault
think-
was that?
I think that has more to do with what we laid at his feet than our interaction.
We laid at his feet what he asked us to find, and he was rather an asshole about it.
Yeah, I
Up-
just don't
uppity
think he liked
holy
what
folk.
we found is more the problem.
Grumble, 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 religion, grumble, grumble, grumble.
Says the paladin.
Says the paladin, yeah.
My power doesn't come from God.
But what
Comes from
I
Dangor.
would, what I think, and y'all can comment on it, is that to get a better grasp of what our task is supposed to be, Magello's the person that seems to know the most.
Supposedly. Although we still have questions about timing and age and things.
Right. I
Magello
would like-
also seemed
Go
like
ahead.
he couldn't tell us things because it would ruin things.
But he was just
So,
being intentionally obtuse
even-
because he's an asshole.
And then here's also my other point, is that because of the blockade, if we go talk to him, say you told us to go here, maybe he can help us find a way through the blockade to go to the Isle of the Blessed.
If that is indeed the same Magello that told us to go to the Isles Blessed.
Yeah, that's
And
Or he'll just
the
ask us why
altar-
you don't know teleport yet.
and the capital city isn't that far away from Fort Farron. So, that was my thought.
The only worry I have with going to the capital is we seem to get sidetracked everywhere we go. And Ismar is kind of cut off from the rest of the world, and we know that there is a dragon over there that we have to deal with at some point. It may
It is
just be
actively-
easier to go
Can
over there.
y'all do me a
and
favor?
deal
Ping
with it.
where Ismar is on the map, because I can't seem to find it. Okay.
It's this area, like this little ridge, everything. Yeah.
It's new text.
It's new text.
I like how it always starts off with like has this like weird border thing. I think it's really funny.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay with that.
If we were going to,
Whose stone is
examine.
that?
We don't need to talk about that.
that's that.
I'm not going to talk to my dragon.
To be
It
fair,
has
I mean,
one
I
purpose.
didn't talk to mine either, so.
well, that was the dragon that was seemingly remorseful.
yeah,
for
the
what it had done.
green one. Wait, which color was it again?
Silver.
Still,
Right.
Silver.
Oh, I was thinking green.
I'll go.
What about investigating while we're here that passive unyielding or whatever it was that we were?
That was the map that I was discussing that I could potentially redraw. It has been some time.
Well, also,
However-
I looked at the map, and it's been a short enough amount of time where I should be able to.
in mine.
perfectly-
Keen.
Yes, sir.
Are you still, Darius? Are you still curious why you died last session? He told you as soon as you said keen mind. He told you were gonna die.
Yeah.
E-man.
So if I
That's why
redraw the map,
You
he can
allude
confirm
to
it.
keen mind without saying the words.
I mean, since we're
They-
here already, if we're not gonna like find a way to end the congregation,
We're also here,
like
yes.
Because we're not going to be able to come back without Varys, you know.
He technically, again, the details are fuzzy, but he said leave the dragon alone. He did tell you to leave. It seems like closing the Shadowfell congruence wouldn't necessarily break your pact, except for maybe the not leaving part.
and it might help to protect Thanos a little
Well,
bit.
That's
the-
my only real concern: is are you going to continue to be hunted inevitably, indeterminably if we don't stop them?
Arcivus can send whoever he wishes after me.
Yeah,
I'd rather
I
get
will-
it.
Comment.
You don't travel alone.
Zeph,
I
I'm
would
gonna
prefer
make you.
not
I think
bats.
I'm not. I don't want to intercede, but Zeph, make a religion check because
Yeah,
we're
okay.
talking about deities and things. I think I'm gonna get you religion here.
Ah. Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
So Zeph, reason why I'm having you roll a religion check is because they're actually talking about influence of deities and other sorts of like power and things. So as a cleric and also your tutelage and your training, visual eye, and where you come from, your backstory, right? The influence of deities is of paramount importance, especially the influence of deities, particularly from the Shadowfell on the Ebith and the Kingdom Deadmore. The Shadowfell deities, in terms of Helm and Pelor, are deemed lesser. They're referred to as lesser deities. And the reason why they are lesser is because they are void of the power due to the creation of the mirror planes themselves. They had created them, and then they were essentially forsaken to them because they could not leave them. Like any deity, they try to increase their power. Like any Shadowfell deity, they do it by force and by influencing the prime material plane. So, how much power and how much influence Orcivis has on this world is determined by its influences and by its points of power. The congruence to a Shadowfell is a point of power, and the fog around you is a manifestation of that.
Something on your mind, Zeth?
Yeah, I was. I was trying to think of a way to summarize that, but I'll just verbatim repeat that because I was trying to think of a quicker way of summarizing that, but I couldn't think of anything. So,
Gotcha. You just gotta let it out. Okay, yeah, for sure. Yep.
All things considered, and that does go. Even deities such as Hell, I've recently myself discovered, has very little influence on this plane, comparatively.
yeah,
And frankly, a lack of concern for it. If we cut off the congruence, Orcivis's reach to either of you might be gone, or at least so severely diminished as to not be a concern for now.
which I think where do we even like? We probably don't know the exact location, but do we know where the Shadowfell one would be?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Well,
in
Thixia.
Thixia. Yeah.
It's in where? In
It's
Dixie?
Thixia.
Center of the marshes. Yeah,
You would think that's where Grugash is as well.
probably.
That's true. Yeah.
And if he's
Well-
not there, he's at the southern this castle over here.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
that's where Lady Trillia is.
That goes back to there's the whole tower thing.
Mhm.
It's possible we could somehow disrupt it because it's not a natural occurrence. It's being forcibly held in.
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing, Orcivis doesn't like Damodar. Orcivis has just promised to stop the undead attacks, which was, as much as I hate to say it, the reason that you all are here besides wanting to help me. Do we leave him in case we need him to help us with Damodar?
Interesting.
I think, frankly, he doesn't have the power to do anything about Damodar. Otherwise, he would have.
Not right
He-
now, but if we collect all these stones,
Hmm.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a deity at your back.
The thing
I always have
that-
one at my back.
the thing that Damodar has aligned himself with is of a sort that Helm himself has not been able to quell it. So this is on the same playing field.
Well, I think that's.
But that's
I mean, I could be wrong, but the idea is that by gathering allies that could aid us in standing up to him, it wouldn't be such a bad idea. So to have this deity on our side, even though he can't actively stand up to him right now, at a later point he might be able to. And if we keep our bargain, maybe he would be inclined to help us.
So double down on the agreement and seek his alliance versus
That's definitely
against him.
an interesting route. I'm not against it. I'm not sure how
It's
we
no
would go
different
about
than
it.
making a deal with a magical tree.
The tree came in handy. Unbelievably.
Hey,
honestly.
magical trees are awesome and they're full of light.
It seems to be a theme down on this plane. It's about people in their trees. It's fascinating.
But I am interested in the passive unveiling if we want to seek it out.
I think that is a thing that we must do. Because once we leave, we can't come back. We have to go there before we leave.
Was it in the marshes or was it just near the marshes? Map
We're
maker.
not entirely sure until I remake the map and look into this, which is
Well,
why I
let's-
was suggesting
Let's
we go to
start
the
remaking
Ivrai
the map then.
and then we head.
I mean, I suppose we have a bit of leniency. There's no way for us to instantly get out of the marshes. So, regardless of
Yeah.
which direction we go, we're not necessarily breaking your agreement.
I think right now we should definitely rest before we do anything.
Yeah, that's
Yes. Yeah.
step one, definitely.
A
frankly,
full
we are
8
out of
hours.
everything, yes.
No
Yes.
short rest. No 1 hour power nap. I need a full sleep.
Well, yeah, it's 10, or it's like 10 afternoon. There's no way we're going to be getting out of the marshes. Even if we headed straight out, there's no way we're getting out of here.
I believe it will actually be daylight again once we've rested soon.
Yeah. Well, with the fog, I don't know about that.
It's
Maybe
at the
like
end
8
of the
a.m..
third day. It'll be light soon. So you're all leaving then?
Seems we have
We
not
have
much
no
of a
choice.
Maybe not immediately. We still haven't decided that part, but
I was told I had no
Trust.
choice but to take the rights of the Salinar as well. See,
It seems you would prefer a choice to that.
of course. That's why I'm with you, but seems like even outsiders have no choice either.
You could
there's
simply
always
leave
a
the marshes,
choice. But
could you not?
So you're actively choosing to not kill Dragon?
right now,
Not
at
at this
least.
time.
Push back the undead? Stop them from
Well,
feasting
when-
on the Fae and all of beautiful creatures of this place?
So the only problem with
We're
that is
we're still trying to figure out that whole issue.
the only problem with that is if we do that, I die.
Which I'm actually wondering because it didn't actually specify we can't do anything about the undead. We just it just
We
grew
can't
as itself.
affect the dragon. But
Well, parts
Yeah.
of the agreement was that the undead would fall back and stop leaving the marsh.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually say we can't attack them as long as we don't do anything about Grugash.
The
But
question
the
is,
undead are Grugash's. The undead aren't Orcivis's. Was the
Yeah,
power
out of
dynamic.
character. So out of character, the clauses that were used in terms and phrasings was that Varys had to leave the marshes of Unveiling and never return. The first clause. The second clause was no harm comes to Grugash. That was the phrasing in the clause. Then the third was that the undead horde will cease their attack on the fort, and that was specific to the fort.
It does make you wonder what else they are doing, since we haven't really seen them do anything other than attack the fort. What was their purpose?
so no harm in general can come to Grugash.
What if he falls down?
And once Varys leaves, he can't come back.
Well,
Right.
I suppose what we need to do really is figure out the source of the undead in the first place. Because if there's a way we can stop them without actually harming Grugash, then that would solve a lot of problems.
So whatever, from what those two clauses I'm implying is, as long we can do and be here, as long as we do not do any harm to Grugash. But once we leave, there's no returning. So whatever business we want to check out and or need to get done needs to be done as soon as possible.
Well, the details on leaving were not super specific. It's a
Also,
leave.
what was the nature of Damodar sending Grugash away? Did he banish him to the Shadowfell, or did he just tell him to leave that one time?
He just told him to get lost.
Believe.
Yeah.
So Grugash is still likely on our plan, and likely still giving orders or working with the people that were kidnapping the Fae, which means that if we go after the people on my hit list, we are likely to run into Grugash.
Yes, I suspect
Well,
it would be
that's
hard to
my whole
separate those
point.
tasks.
Is that I don't think we can stop the undead without running into them, and then that breaks the deal.
Didn't he promise not to send the undead forth?
Against
To the fort.
Which was, I mean, it was our short-term goal was to stop those attacks. That has been done. If he keeps his word, what else he might do with it is curious, but not our immediate concern.
But if we take our focus, if we're looking at the big goal, the overall goal, our goals are to stop Damodar. If we're worried about what he's going to do with the undead, if we can get to the south battle, the far south, and we can stop the whatever's going on down there, that's going to free up the paladins from Othema, and then the undead doesn't matter anymore. Because there's more than enough paladins in Othema to take on an army of undead.
I suspect by the time we stop what was going on in the south, we will have done what we
We will run out of time.
are going to
against-
do with Damodar.
Yeah.
I feel like that is where he is putting the bulk of his attention when it comes.
Or
to
is that what is the phrase? A red herring, I think is what.
Yeah.
Well, it's a red dragon, actually. It's a bit large.
Yes, but usually if you're making a play at something, you make a lot of noise over here if you want to catch the prey and then lure them into.
He's kind of making a lot of noise everywhere.
Well, let's decide on an action to take in the morning. What do you want to do when we wake up?
I'm for trying to find the source of the congruence and the source of that, which I think is going to be the same thing, and probably finding this lady, Julia.
I don't know that
The way this makes this sound to me is that if y'all do that, I need to go. I need to separate from y'all. Because
Well, honestly,
I don't think. I mean, if we're
Well, like,
just dealing with
here's what you're
undead,
not understanding. All right, I was being nice about it, but I'm not throwing my life away in the pursuit of this.
it's a gamble.
I-
Yes.
Made that very clear from the start.
So you value your life more than the countless that have been turned or killed.
Yes.
Is
To
that
be
a
fair,
trait
we
that
cannot change the
comes-
past.
Is that a trait that, well, it's not the past we're talking about. It's the future as well.
It's also
and
more complicated than that. Our enemy is clever. The one person we need to accomplish that task is the one person that will die if we try to accomplish it.
but that's the real question is that we don't actually know the answer to is does dealing with the undead by Orsiphus's definition, does that harm Grugash?
That's
I don't think it
Thanos
does.
is telling you right
Opposite.
now that Lady Trillia has talked to Grugash and talks to Grugash regularly. If we go
Problem
to
is-
Lady Trillia's, we are likely to run into Grugash. There's
That's
a
why
better than not odds that we run into Grugash and have to
run
confront
into
him.
Grugash, and
Yeah,
we have
regardless
to
of
fight
how
him. I
well
die.
executed the plan is, Grugash could just show up to thwart it because we can't do anything about it. You can just hang out and laugh at
I mean, at minimum, I do think we should at least investigate so we know facts, like where they even are, even if we don't do anything ultimately about it.
We know where they're at.
I just feel like
I can point them all out on the map.
I feel like we're just running a risk. The problem that your argument is that you're not inheriting the risk that is my life at stake. So it's like, oh, well, we can go investigate. Well, it's like, well, if while we're investigating, we run into Grugash, what then? What are you
So,
going to do to
a
stop my
heavy
deal
gamble.
from being broken?
Do we know Trillia is near the congruence?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So,
She is-
as far
if
as
you
I'm
open-
concerned, if we are
Actu-
to ever have the opportunity to fully stop Grugash and Orcivis, we need to have Varys.
Right.
Now, I understand that there's a lot going on right now. There's people dying everywhere. Okay,
And not just here.
exactly. I understand what's happening here is horrible. But Varys dying is not something that we can afford because we need him to help us save other people and to complete our quest.
Even beyond Grugash, just even in the fight for Damodar.
And in the fight against Damodar, we don't know that we have to kill the dragons. We do
I
know that the
suspect-
stones play a role, and his is now theoretically complete. So the ultimate goal of beating Damodar is likely we're one step closer already.
I think the key for Damodar is simply to remove the dragons from play, which has somewhat been accomplished. If everyone keeps to their words.
You know, and I hate it. I hate that I have to be this selfish. But it's like, I didn't sign up for a massive quest that puts my life at jeopardy. To
Being
start.
selfless is noble if it accomplishes something worthwhile, but in this case, the thing that you would seek to accomplish would be undermined by your selflessness. So there's no point.
If there was a surefire way we could get to Orcivis, bypassing Grugash, to hopefully deal with him instead of Grugash, and to free you of your curse.
We could just
Then-
step through the congruence. He probably wouldn't even stop us. He wants that.
He
one
would
back.
likely kill us as soon as we get over there. I do not
Yeah,
think
I
that
didn't.
we are
did
on
not
the
say we
level
would
of.
survive.
Mm.
If we're going to deal with Grugash, I think we do it later when we have more ways to combat Grugash, Orcivis, or we turn Orcivis into an ally and
Or
look for boons later.
Honestly,
I think might be an idea. Maybe I plead for the favor of another deity that can protect me from it.
a more powerful one. Play them against one another. That's interesting.
But
I
we
would
can't do that
say
here.
perhaps we don't make any more long-term machination plans in front of someone whom we know nothing about. Do you recall, Zeph, when you were talking about deities and beings having connections to this plane, places of power, ways to see, hear, listen? And Maldor just looks at Patricia.
I'm just gonna look to Thanos and be like, let's try to recreate that map.
After you get some sleep, you are
Let's
useless
rest.
in your exhausted current present state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rest and then
And,
just-
I may be able to inspire you guys when we wake up.
It's
Just
very
seeing
hearty
your
cheer for the map maker.
just seeing your beautiful face is inspiration enough, and then I'll just like lay back on the tree.
Nah, let's go kill Grugash. It's cool. We can.
You got it.
Zeph, do you mind throwing up the
Yeah.
hut?
The Herbert.
Yeah, I'll throw that up, and I won't throw out the template unless we think that might be relevant. But
Oh, so we're not sleeping in Herbert. We're sleeping in the tiny hut, right?
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I keep forgetting about Herbert too.
I don't think
It's up
throwing
to
up
you,
Herbert
I
is
mean-
necessary right now.
Yeah, if you're just like, hey, let's not create a giant cottage in the middle of the marsh
Yeah.
that's a beacon for
Yeah,
things to
imagine
come at us.
All I was thinking.
There's also not a lot of free space for a giant cabin up here.
All I was thinking is when we were in the king's little hut that you guys were gonna just drop Herbert on top of everything. And I was like, that'd been so fucking funny.
Yeah, that would have been so good.
To be fair, if we're going to drop Herbert, we just leave the front door open and I can shoot everything as it comes in.
Or we just sleep in the tiny hut. I mean,
Plus is invisible.
Have we not seen Walking Dead? Have we not realized the potentials of what that means to trap yourselves into a house?
But bottleneck it's foolproof.
foolproof,
All right, so if you're
absolutely.
watching the stream, thanks so much. Ill Fate will be going through at least 10 sessions worth of combat. A dead horde waylaying Herbert. No, that's up to you. I mean, yeah, if you don't, I mean, the tiny hut makes more sense than Herbert. You still want to have it be just
Yeah.
throwing that up, create a
No,
create a
that
space
tiny
just to-
hut's fine.
What
okay.
about a tiny hut inside of Herbert?
It's the
We
We
same
put a tiny hut at the
Yeah.
doors so they can't get in. It's brilliant.
So as you create it, right, creating that potential space, are you including Trisha in that?
Yeah.
Oh,
So Trisha has been just patiently listening and watching, and just has this bit of sorrow upon the face. They've joined you on your adventure and your quest, and really just trying to understand outsiders and adventurers. So they're listening to you all talk and debate this whole thing. And as you all begin to settle yourselves down for your rest, the light begins to trickle through the fog a little bit, increasing every so often, right? So the light's like that long transition, and you all are able to get your long rest.
so a question for you: have we seen her trance or kind of rest at all? As far
She
as
straight,
what
up, she straight up told us that she doesn't ever sleep.
She
she
doesn't
doesn't ever sleep.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, sleep. Neither do I technically. So that's
Right.
why I was
Well, yeah,
curious
no,
if she
but, like,
tranced
no
out
rest.
somewhere.
No trancing. You can tell.
Which did she? I'm pretty sure she discussed, but did she actually say anything about why that is? I think she said talked about it.
Talk about not really specific details about she doesn't sleep.
It's a good
Talk
thing
a bit
she's
about the fact
standing right
that-
there. You can ask her.
They're not born like regular humanoids.
Yeah, their power is more. Their life force is more natural, I guess, is the one way to look at it. Tied to the earth, it feels
Flowers.
like. Do fun.
All right.
No, I was just
You-
wondering because I was wondering if that was like a curse or anything because I can remove curses, but I don't know if that's a curse or just something else.
Person, what thing as far as a curse?
In terms of her not ever sleeping,
oh,
type
if
thing.
there's a curse been applied to her about
Yeah.
that? I mean,
But I don't
that's
know.
really-
No.
Mhm. It's up to you to ask. I mean, Trisha's been just sitting there listening to you all talk, and again, just sits crisscross.
Yeah,
inside
I
of the
would
hut,
ask
just
her
listening.
If she know, if it has it just always been like that, she never has to sleep or anything like that, or was there a point that started?
I have never slept. I've only watched Ruben sleep.
Even when you were a kid?
Sal and I don't sleep. We never rest.
Interesting.
So even if it was a curse, which it probably isn't, it's not an individual thing. It's just a everyone thing. Interesting.
I don't think
Varys,
I'm
shall
cursed.
we work on this map?
Hmm?
I was asking Varys if he wanted to work on the map.
Oh yeah. I was also specifically prepared. If you want, I have enhanced ability prepared today. If that would help.
What type of check is cartographer tools?
You literally roll from the tool set.
So Thanos is the one making the check.
Yeah. Well, Thanos is also getting advantage because Varys is keen mind, so
Oh,
Yeah,
it's already
okay.
advanced.
I'm
You're-
gonna
So enhanced
Yeah,
ability would
forward
really
it.
actually help if you're already getting advantage.
yeah, you're not going to help with it. Enhanced ability is not going to help because Varys literally has keen mind, so Varys is going to
Yeah.
keep pointing things out based on what they have. So,
okay.
and then the Bardic Inspiration, the D8 can be applied. It might not prompt you when you do the cartographer tools, but you can always roll manual D8 afterwards. Go ahead.
So it's shift for advantage, right?
Let's hold it Alt. If you hold down Alt, it's advantage. You can roll again.
Nice.
Why did that not? Oh, I didn't mean to roll. Whatever. Why did that not apply my proficiency bonus?
It's okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, you rolled a flat 19
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
rituals, so
For
then you
both
got
of
a
them. Yeah.
and then a D8 on top of it. So I'm just gonna remove that. So it's good enough here. To get the check out, you begin to work on a map. Drawing that out, it is going to take an hour or two, right, to really make some detail to the map to understand before you can really reveal what it is, where it's going in terms of positioning in space. You then begin to overlay that over continent map, things that you might have to really understand where this place is. And what becomes apparent is that this place is literally super close to you all, and it's like right up here, a little bit smaller. So it's not so crazy in terms of lines.
Interesting.
There?
That's correct.
Yep.
It seems to be in the southern Frostard Mountains, facing on the south side.
Mm.
Begins to kind of work itself onto the mountain, roughly 1,000 to 1,500 feet up in the elevation.
So it seems like it is on our way back to Fort Farron regardless, so we may as well swing
We
up
actually
there.
might be able to take our boats from Norfolk all straight up the river.
Well, the river would flow. We'd be going against the current.
Paddle hard.
Well, like I guess it would depend on how hard the
Battle
current is. Like,
hard.
is it a hard current, soft current, or
I'm pretty sure there were rapids, right?
Yeah,
but
I was going
the
to say
entire
we
time-
have two people with enough strength to even remotely try to manage that. That would just wear the rest of us out.
Yeah, if you're trying to go up that tributary, not mention how the rapids of Farron River on the East Fork were decent at some times. Then you have the North Fork, which is larger, but also as quick and pace. The tributary is going to be equal to that. So yeah, it'd be tough to go on a boat, but I mean it's manageable. It just depends on how much are you really gaining. Like a lot, like most
Well,
most sea travel, if not for a gradual river and sails and like oars, like longboats, right? Most actual upcurrent travel is worse than just walking because
Just
you're going
walking, that's
slower
right.
and working more energy.
What I
We
was
also-
thinking also is
Go ahead.
that we have a cart with horses, so why would we choose to go upriver?
I don't
Well,
know.
we're
that
not
they're
going back
very
to Fort
useful
Farron
in
to
the-
get
in the
those.
mountains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, taking horses
Yeah.
up into the mountains is
Might as well
Wagons,
take
at
the
least.
canoes up in the mountains.
You do also happen to have a ranger who has favored terrain of mountains and can make sure that we can move quickly through the mountains.
Should use
Really?
that.
Ooh.
That's
That's weird. I've never heard the term favored terrain.
Yeah,
So
where did that come from?
if we decide to go that way, recall that Damodar blew up Othema to get to that map. So he knows wherever that thing is, whatever it was.
That would explain why he was able to get to us so quickly earlier.
Well, no, I think the reason why he got those so quickly is that he teleports everywhere.
We could very well run into him there. If he's,
Yeah.
I mean, I have no doubt in my mind. Whatever he wanted that was there, if he could have access to whatever that was, he's already gotten it.
Of
But
course,
maybe
the
we
question-
go check it out anyway.
No,
Was
I'm
it something
saying
he
we definitely
wanted?
should.
yeah, was it something he wanted or something he didn't want us to have? Much like the stones.
Right.
That's a fair point. Either way, I'm 100% on board with going.
So am I.
Well, let us head out then.
Is there anything we would like to do immediately before we leave the marshes?
If we're looking for more allies, I would suggest we search the Ivrai. But if we're not looking for more allies and we think that we're, better suited just handling everything ourselves, then I think we head out and not waste time.
I suspect they would make good allies against the undead, but given that we cannot promise to fight them now, I don't know what deal we would have to offer them.
The Ivrai are very, very talented rangers, at least from my understanding. So even if we couldn't help them against the undead, if something posed a larger threat outside and they were able to help us track it.
Have we honored our deal with the frogs yet?
No.
I will
Well, we-
slay any lizard that comes into my
Well, we
path.
slayed a bunch
Yep.
of lizard people, right?
Yeah, that's
But
why
we
we're
also
not going to
promised
go
the
to the
dragon,
lizard
right?
place.
We
No,
simply
promised
said
lizard
that we
folk.
would kill them. We didn't promise to conquer their territory. If I see a lizard, I will kill a lizard.
What did the Salinar say? Matriarch Islena.
She wants her stone back once we're done with our task.
Technically, we were very unspecific on what the details of the task were. We're not really done.
Hold
with the
on,
story.
hold on. Okay, hold on. So now I'm hearing that. Okay, now it's unspecific. We are on this unspecific criteria for our task, but yet we're going to be specific on the bargain that Varus made. Like that is
Yeah.
like what is
That's-
that? That's
that's-
so like
That's
hypocritical,
the
right?
whole issue that Jeff is having. Is like we're being very specific about some things and not some others.
I mean, we're trying to
You
leave.
gotta be one
We're
way or
trying
the
to
other. You
leave
can't-
the mark. Yeah. yeah.
Listen, I'm
Yeah.
okay with being unspecific as long
My-
as there isn't
what I
You
what
can't
I
make up these things just to justify.
what I was
What it
thinking
is.
is that when we're done with the stone, she'll get it.
Yeah, I mean that we said that as soon as we made the deal. Now whether we told her that, but like
Right.
obviously we can't just give it back like until
On some
we
real
feel
shit, I
done.
remember us saying once we were finished, we would give her the stone. That was all I remember.
And we're not finished. Our task
Yeah,
is
but
to
I-
kill Damodar.
We haven't even killed the dragon.
Regardless, I got my
Yeah.
notes. That's all that matters.
The notes are
I
law.
wrote down the specific clauses to this. So yeah, it's up to. I
Ferris,
think,
use your
honestly,
keen mind to find out the clauses we
for
put
me-
in
for
Salinar.
me, for me, I just think it's funny. I think it's funny. It's basically you're trying to justify or work any which way. It's totally fine, but like it's just funny that for me, listening to his players like circling the drain, right?
Oh,
And
no.
be like,
The
no,
problem
no,
is
no,
like
no,
we're
get out
not,
here now
we're
and
not
be
done
there.
using the stone, so we can't give it back.
But so you say that, but then what if basically saying if you're never going to do it to create like these creatures to Salinar in concept of Talus and having this hive-like connection and also having some things of relevant to time, chronergy, right? If you're never going to do it, that means it's never going to happen, right? So that's a finite thing. So that defies the clause, right? It defies what you agreed to. The Bullywogs, the frog people, yeah, that's so big. Being like, just kill lizard.
Kill lizard.
You know, that's not a big deal. But the Salinar, I do want to reference, like, point that out, is that that's something that is part of their culture, it's part of their people, right? It's to the matriarch of their people that they've had that inside of this amulet. And so they gave that to you after connecting with and talking with you, understanding that you were of a kind of a pure of heart mind, that you would go and do these things. And now all of a sudden that's flipped over, and then we're saying, oh well, hey, we're eventually going to come to it. But what I've
What's
just
this-
heard from the conversations that you'll never come back
Eric.
here. So,
No, the problem is that
Oh, Varys won't.
I don't know
You've-
how to fix the
Varys won't.
situation.
You made a very good point earlier. You said perhaps you could find another deity or power that could shield you from your deal with Osiris. What if the Salinar and their magic tree are
Is
that
that
power?
deal? Yeah, I mean, then we need to go back and talk to them.
They could perhaps give you the ability to fulfill your agreement with them.
That is
they
something
gave
I
me
did
the
not think
ability-
about.
To
Also,
exert control over you.
us leaving the marshes may not be our only opportunity to confront Orcivis. If we can find another way to get to the Shadowfell and deal with Orcivis, we can bypass Grugash.
But the problem
and-
is that even if we can find a way to do that, we can't take him on.
I'm not saying soon.
Right now.
No,
Like,
that-
Even
and that's-
the God Killer.
and that out of character. So again, I'm not trying to tilt your directions or influence your play or anything. I'm just stating that if that is something you're going to come back and do, right, then you
Yeah.
can leave and then figure this out and then come back. I'm not saying that that's going to fulfill whatever it is the Salinar you
no,
all
I
agreed to.
plan to fix this at some point. I just
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
how.
Yeah,
The plan
think
is to
so.
find a loophole. We just don't know
Yeah,
the loophole while
just-
we're here,
yeah.
so there's no point in like trying to do stuff, risking
I
him when
think-
we can find a loophole.
Which actually question that
Yeah.
I think will answer at least some questions. I would ask the Thanos because like I know you don't know Orsif is probably like buddy, but you arguably better than any rest of us. In your opinion, do you think how strictly do you think he is in terms of deals, like wording wise? Is he one of those deities that's like exactly what it says is what it means, or like
More than likely, and he's also, I would assume, if we stick around, likely to screw with us and play with our minds, seeing as how he is the Mind Viper.
There's a lot of titles. So I mean, deities are wont to have names. And
The other thing is, we don't know his connection to Varys at this point, given that he's seen Varys' soul, and he is also, what is it, the Dream King, the King of Dreams?
The King of Dreams.
If he can get into Varys' dreams and see that we have plans to mess with Grugash, we're just inviting more trouble. The further away from his power while we figure out Varys' condition, probably the better.
I can tell you, I communed with that tree. I asked it for something, and it provided. It seemed very open to asking for just about anything.
I mean,
That is a
yeah,
possibility.
I can ask if it can shield me from him.
You would be
What did-
promising to bind yourself to that tree for all time, seemingly upon your death.
Until we
Doesn't
find
seem-
another deity that can strip him of that.
Yeah, we just keep going. And
Bloop, 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 bloop.
maybe
I found a stronger deity. Bye.
hey,
You all are
I
fucking
was
insane.
thinking
I'm just gonna
as
keep
well.
We're literally turning into the BBEG.
This is what we said from the start. Varys is gonna be the BBG. This is the path.
Why'd you have to kill me? I hate this feeling.
To set
So-
up your villain arc.
So,
This is all part of Michael's plan.
Either we go and Varys begs for amnesty from his deal with Orsivis, or we leave the marsh and go pursue this map location. I think are the
I
two.
think
clear
speaking with a
choices.
Selenar doesn't hurt anything.
Well, if we speak with them and don't have a plan, then they're going to want the stone back.
I do
want
think-
to help these people. I just don't think we can do it now.
We're also
Right,
still
at this
discussing this
moment.
in front of a Salinar.
that's also true. But she hasn't taken her rights, which means she hasn't taken the water yet, right? That's
She
what
still
they told
talks
us.
to people. Maybe
Yeah,
not
but she has to like go over
telepathic.
there and tell them, and it's a whole thing.
Crosby, no?
I mean, again, we're still honoring the deal. We are going to fix it.
Well, we think.
eventually.
I
I'm fine either way. I just thought it was important to.
Okay, so
weigh
what
the
are we
options.
talking about now? We're really like spinning out of control here and not doing anything.
Well,
Do you know who we are?
But yeah, that's what I'm trying to
well,
fix.
no. I think the problem we're having right now is the fact that, like, 80% of what we came here to do in the first place, we're essentially saying now we can't do it. At least right now.
because we can't do it right now.
here's my plan.
Well,
Okay?
that's what my problem. Well, not
This
wrong
is
problem.
like a
My thought
hypothetical.
process. Well, my thought process is just that we're saying that we can't even scout an area that Grugrass might be. Because we don't know.
You're
Right,
asking
okay.
to scout
You could show
an
up.
area with a bunch of people that are trained like I am
Mhm.
to be unseen and to track people.
All right.
You're essentially asking to scout a fortress with those type of people.
So, short term, Grugash and Orsivis have now become long term because we can't deal with it right now. Short term,
Yes.
is there anything else we need to do in the marsh?
No.
Okay. So let's leave.
Yeah, we'll come back and deal with this when we can. and I will brainstorm a plan to ask some other god to intercede on my behalf.
It may not even need to be a god. It could be a curse on your soul. We may just need a very powerful way to remove that.
We could go back to Thema and
Yeah, fuck that place.
commune with the
I think
Godfather.
the most important thing
They
that
don't like us.
we need to get across here, as I look over to Trisha, is we are still honoring our deals, except kind of not the frog people, because who gives a fuck? But
She kind of likes the frog. people.
What? No, we're honoring that deal too. We will kill lizard folk that
I will
Yeah,
slay
we need
every
to
lizard
kill.
folk
okay,
that
do we
I-
It's
do we
not
not
every
think
lizard folk.
just
every
killing the
bad
lizard
lizard
people
folk.
before we leave is not like out of the question? Can we just go fuck them up real quick and then
Well,
we
you
leave?
want? Well, I don't think. I mean, they have an entire like civilization. I mean, like going to war. It's not a small
What have the
town.
Muckluck done to all of you?
Why are you
I've
trying to
listened to
kill the
you.
frog people?
I've listened
No,
to
not
you
the
speak
frog people. The lizard
for
people.
over an hour as you have delegated and spoken about last night. With your
Yeah, I-
terms, where you slept. I have. How are you all together?
We
Seems
don't
as
know.
though you're not like the Salinar. You don't speak as one. You're just all these voices and trying to find common purpose, I suppose.
That's how most of
If
the world
you're-
works.
Sounds like you're all leaving, and you're not going to be taking on any further quests to stop or do anything. I'm gonna head back.
You can let them know that we will be back as well.
Okay.
I
Just
will
walk
kill
away.
Lady Trillia. It is something that
Disappears
will happen.
into the fog, walking in the northeastern direction.
All right, let's also leave. Unless, yeah, and then we'll. Are we going to the pass? Is that our next move? For sure. Is that what we're doing?
Any objections to going to the pass?
No.
Okay,
How about me?
that's what we're doing.
How are you all getting to that location?
That's a very good question because we would have to either go through the Muckluck or go back through the Salinar, who may not be happy with us by the time she gets there, and she's going to get there a lot faster than us.
Well, why
So,
wouldn't we just
through the
go
Muckluck we go?
I suppose. Well, I
I
was.
don't know that there's a way to do without either, unless we're going to go all the way around the south. But that's probably
Here's
worse.
my logic, right? So, we have a deal to kill the Muckluck. We know
not
the
the
Muckluck.
No, the
We're not
Muckluck are the
killing them.
frogs. They wanted
Oh,
us
the
to kill
Muckluck
the
are the
lizards.
frogs.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Mucklucks are not the ones that we want to kill.
Okay, well, then they won't attack us. They'll be like, oh, hey, they're back.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
then we have to get them to swim us all the way to the other side, and then we have
To
to
be f-
cross back through the Salinar area.
All we have to do is give them a gold coin. It's not that.
There's not only one way to cross the river. This river's long. Like, we don't have to just go straight back to Norfolk.
Yeah, but if we
through the
go
that's where all
south,
the stuff we're supposed to
Or-
avoid is.
No, I'm saying let's go
Yes.
north.
Well,
yeah, if we go
requires us
north, that's
going
through the
Muckluck.
Muckluck.
That's
and
what
then,
I'm.
and then above the Muckluck is the mountains. Like if you look on the Artheria map, this
Good
is all
thing
the
we have a
the
ranger with
Muckluck
a
area.
favorite terrain of mountains, huh?
I mean, yeah, but it's as I said, at some point we're crossing through Salinar territory because we still have to go east.
Well, I don't think they're going to attack us. They might try to have a conversation.
Hey, look, as far as Thanos is concerned, it's a risk any way we go. So I'm just letting you know that if they are going to be unhappy with us, they're going to try to take their stone back. going through their territory is probably not the best idea.
I think I'm technically bound to that tree. If you make enemies of them, I might be compelled to kill you or something.
Yeah,
So,
so
do we
let's
want
not
to
go
go-
through there.
Do we want to go east from where we are and try to exit the marshes on the side of the river, and then make our way north from there?
We really screwed ourselves here, didn't we?
There's literally no way, unless you're going to cross the river and go through Angry Town. It's literally Angry Town or Salinger Town. Pick one. And we don't really have a way to cross the river with us, so we get the
Swim.
frogs to do it, or just swim.
Oh,
Boy, we
Is
really
the river
screwed
more than
pooch.
500 feet wide?
Yeah.
What if?
At this point, it is. Depends on where you're going to cross, but 500 feet is greater. You'd have to go all the way where the congruence of the rivers are. You maybe a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile south of that, and then from there it gets significantly greater.
On the Marshes of Unveiling map, can I kind of make out where we're at all?
Yeah, no, I can. I'm gonna use just the freehand tool here, and I'll circle it. You are currently heading in the direction here. If I could draw, I should have just done a circle because that looks cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I
So-
mean, you have essentially another day of this travel, maybe a half extra onto that, and then you imagine you'll get the direction that you are.
Wait, where are we? I don't see anything.
It's the white one. It's on the Marshes map.
Oh,
Are you over to this
Okay,
map?
here's the other thing, right? Obviously, if Damodar wanted something there, he would have taken it already. He has the ability to teleport.
Wait, are
It
we
wouldn't take him too
still-
long.
are we still arguing about what to
We just
do?
went from
No,
figuring
I'm
out
saying
how to get out of
that
the marsh
the
to where
amount
we're
of time
going
to
again.
get there is irrelevant. So if we go south and loop down to Elathan and then get another carriage, and just fucking ride all the way up, or more horses, it would extend our travel, yes, but it would lessen our risk of having to deal with the Salinar.
So I'm
The
thinking.
crossing the southern part of the marshes is where all of the things we just promised not to interfere with are.
Thinking we follow the river and then we can actually hit that northern tower and appease Zeph a little bit with a little bit of investigation, and then we leave.
Okay, let's go.
Does that make everyone happy? That touches everyone's big ifs and or
Yep.
buts in every argument.
You're not
No,
touching
And if
don't
you
say
have a
that.
problem
Well,
with
it's-
it, I don't want to hear
So
it because I'm just going to shoot you at this point.
Yes,
Nope.
This
I'm
is the
so
plan.
tired of debating. Let's go.
This is what we've come to.
So we
We're
compromise
gonna
and no one's
TPK
happy.
each other. Far too much.
Let's all take a moment and really say thank you to me, because I've literally been having to shuffle maps around as I'm listening to this conversation. Just to
I'm sorry.
I'm literally listening to your conversation. I'd be like,
You know what,
I'm
Thank you
shuffling
guys
maps,
for
be like,
watching.
where
We're
are they
gonna
gonna go? What's
This is
happening?
the ill-fated.
You just wait.
And then I heard
until
Lathan
Varys
there. I heard
gets
Lathan. I
teleported.
started getting maps up for that. I was like, okay, no, all right. I'm just fucking
Nope.
with
Yeah,
it.
I was just,
Got
I
you.
I was so
Thanos is
annoyed.
putting his
I was
foot down.
Guys.
Nobody else knows how to navigate. So we're going where Thanos
Yeah,
wants to
ultimately,
go.
we have to follow Thanos. now.
That's fair. Thanos could leave at any moment and we'd be fucked.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
I was so over it. I was just like, oh, what are we even talking about?
How dysfunctional is your group? Well, our ranger had to put his foot down and threaten to shoot us all, so we'd shut up and go.
Okay, so we're kind of we're backtracking in time and distance, as well as potentially travel. I actually have to take another rest here before we actually get to the tower in terms of how much time it takes. You're working through some of the shallow parts of the trees here. Again, remember the river is becoming less and kind of feeds into the trees around, right? And so you're kind of waddling, and you don't want to get into the deeper areas, so you do have to make that that hookful around. And then as soon as you start getting to the opening of the mouth of that stream or that river that feeds into the Farron River, another tributary, right? And that's why the Farron River is as large as it is, right? Because you have so many different points of where the kind of river's coming into it. You have to cross this massive span of moving water that is forcing itself into the Farron River. Now, this is not really a challenging thing because we're not in combat, right? You've been aware with your perceptions of further undead, and it seems the closer that you actually get to water in terms of the depth of that water, the less undead or shadows are presenting to you in the fog itself. It could be that the undead don't actually go into the water or the waterways, and so they try to get away from that. And so it's a little bit of a safe place, as you can feel. Now, the fog as well is pushed at this point because of the current of the water, and the force of that is moving the fog. So it still has a natural phenomena here where the fog is kind of moved in that endeavor. I'm going to go ahead and kind of transition the ambiance away from the still water that we've had and really showcase in terms of the stream that we're having, in terms of volume. And distance-wise, you have a great number of meters here. And I'll transition that into feet for you. Let's see if I can... Let's forget the conversion for feet. You have 400 meters. So that is roughly 1,300 feet that this water is. So that really showcases to you how large the massive river is at this point. And it does cut through. And so you can't actually see the other side of Farron River. You only can maybe make out a few shadows and things through that there's potentially what it is on the other side. But there's nothing that would give you that distance because of the fog. Being pushed off by the river is the only real way that you can see the shadows of potentially Thixia, potentially the structures that are marked onto the map, right? Showcasing that there is something on the other side, but it's too vague and really what that is with your perceptions. Now, you all can cross this river. This isn't a problem at all. It just takes time working together and swimming across. You'll have to start upwards and then kind of work your way down at a slight angle. The issue comes to the heavily armored, primarily. So when you're heavily armored and you're attempting to swim, you actually have to make an athletics check at disadvantage. For everyone else, that wouldn't be so bad because they can take their time, but since you're heavily armored, you're getting pushed more. So those who are heavily armored, I need you to make an athletics check at disadvantage.
I'm not swimming. I'm popping the wings out.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just playing. If you want to fly, you can. I'm just saying, if you were to swim across this.
Fuck that.
Okay, popping the wings to fly? Sure.
God, that's the first time I've heard Steven
Maldor?
talk since the game started.
He's been getting high, man.
So 12, again, a great check, right? The DC is not very high. It's kind of really just saying, I don't want to be swashed into the main river and then start flowing down with the current. And bye, everybody. You know, you're having to tread a little bit harder, work harder, and it's causing you to sink more, but eventually you all get to the other side of the river. You then begin to go through the network of trees and the other pools of water that you were previously. And again, a safe place against the undead because this is a floodplain area. The trees growing, there's nowhere in here that's not submerged in at least knee-high water. So this is reverting to you all to have difficulty in terrain to go through this space. And at that point, the daylight still hitting above. The sound of the rivers between them is so... The volume of that is so large that's still present, but it's turned down in terms of that ambiance. But you're tired. You're exhausted at this point. You swim across this massive river, then you've been wading through knee-high water for hours, and you've reached what feels like the end of the day. If you progress any further than this, you will, at this stage, suffer exhaustion, but you'll perhaps reach the tower. Continue.
Yeah, we don't really know what's at these towers, right?
Yeah, we should probably rest.
Yeah, I suspect nothing friendly.
Who knows? Maybe Gurgash lives at the North Tower.
Might
That would be our luck.
Yeah, then we'd be really putting the specifics to the deal to the test.
You know, we're on our way out. You were in our way. Sorry.
Thanos is just like, dude, Dad said to leave us alone.
Oh boy.
So we're taking a rest, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna actually pop the long rest again because I get one of my bardic inspiration back.
Okay. Yeah, if you need to pop a long rest, you totally can. So you begin to take your rest here. Most likely getting up into the trees, right? Getting out of the water to get these rests done. It's not anything that's too difficult to do. The branches, the trees are very large. So you're able to kind of scale them, get on them, and just like fully even lay out onto the branches. Something that became, was actually a really detriment to the bat during the fight, the Nightwing, based on the massive amounts of branches and brambles that were inside the tree and caused a huge problems in its flight. Now, you all get your long rest. Again, relatively
Before
undisturbed.
I go to
But you-
sleep on that night, I want to do a sending to my mother, and just I'll say, "Hey, it's Varys. Just checking in. I wanted to let you know that I missed you." And that would be it.
So as you send the message, you wait for a reply, and then the reply to you. Remember your bargain.
Oh.
Does the sending message seem to be interrupted, perhaps, by Orcivis?
Can I send
Your
a message
fate
to him,
depends on it.
like back? I'll try to send a message to him, and just say, "Does me going to the North Tower break our bargain?"
So sending a secondary message at this point, Varys, to the rest of the party, you actually have fell asleep. So the rest of the party, you have kind of moved your hands, and then you were conducting magic, and then you've slowly now just kind of drifted off in whatever cubbyhole you have.
Oh my god, he's dead. Oh,
God damn it.
Breathing normally, right? There's no issues there. Everything's fine. And as you send those words outwards, you then awake after sending them in the cusp of that, right when you're passing to the sleep, right? You feel as if you sent it.
You're going back to the
You're
Citadel,
standing.
dude.
In the keep. Orcivis on the throne.
Hello again.
Hello.
Is there a reason why you drugged me here?
I am the King of Dreams. You are tired and you went to sleep. I am always with you.
So this is gonna happen every time I go to sleep?
Only when you attempt to subvert me or wish to speak. And I take a liking.
Okay. Well, I do have some questions if you don't mind answering them.
It depends on what the questions are.
When we travel through these marshes, and Grugash, if we run into Grugash, is he going to attack us or is he going to avoid us?
In a very interesting question. I have no control over Grugash. They will do as they please.
Okay. What about if I use my stone to command him to leave? Is that a break-in of our bargain?
Oh, how naive and foolish you are to believe you have the strength and the will to survive.
Okay, this seems ridiculous, but can I make an insight check on him?
Where? You get us a check. Brad, did you want to see
Kill
this
you.
map? You weren't here. Honestly,
that map is
Zep
so
wasn't here
cool.
either. Yeah, I'll bring you all to the scene. Give me a second.
Ferris, just say, "Let me eat you."
Well, I did watch the playback stream, so I did get caught up on
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Let
love
you all
this
see the
map.
It's pretty cool looking map. I like when I made it. I was like, oh, it's so cool.
Yes, I'm awesome.
So inside of 11, you cannot tell. There is no facial expressions given by this deity in this avatar-like form. They also present with very limited body language. In fact, they haven't really moved. Their scythe still laying upon their lap. If they had a lap, their legs still in this funnel like a genie of this purplish energy feeding off underneath the metallic throat they currently hover upon.
What does that mean? That I'm foolish to think I'd survive.
You are foolish to think you would survive commanding Brugia.
So that means the bargain would be broken.
You do not understand the power that the stones yield and the toll it takes on mortals.
Oh. So it's not that you would punish me, it's that the stone would kill me.
A coming that would happen far quicker than I would hope. But nonetheless, I would still enjoy it.
Shit.
I feel like you're answering my questions with questions.
Is it not how you spoke to the rest of your companions? Questions. Questions.
That's a fair
Touche.
point.
Being called out by Orpheus.
I mean,
Oh man, that's all right.
I
Thanos is having a mental breakdown right now. He's just not going. He's just going
Oh
through
man,
it
that's
right now.
hilarious. That's hilarious.
that's fair. Well, I don't intend to harm Grugash, so I guess this is a mute point.
It is.
And then if I can leave, I want to leave. I don't know if I have the control to be able to do that, but I would like to try if I can.
Heirs of House Willow. You may awake. Scythe reaches. Feel paralyzed. Can't move at this point. The scythe comes down. The tip touches you into the head. And you awake after your long rest. You've been sleeping the entire time through this 8-hour period. You awake fully rested.
Cool.
So Orpheus is at your mom's house.
I think Orpheus just said he's daddy.
He's downstairs cooking eggs right now.
Ferris just became my stepbro, dude.
You want to do karate in the garage?
What are you doing, step bro? Not killing the dragon.
I want a
that's for
different
sure.
group. Can I play with a different group, please?
Oh man.
You
So-
stepbro?
Varys, when you wake up, you feel like this is a dream, right? So you remember having the sending message and then a voice that was not repetitive from your mother, that something had happened. But the same context as if you were in a dream and awoke, you remember it for a very split and then you lose that memory over time. If not for your keen mind, you actually would lose that completely. So it's very foggy and it's very kind of clouded. You know that you were in a dream state, but you can't really tell if that was real or if it was just a dream, right? And that creates very vivid, can maybe like very vivid like affirmations of detect when you went through the mind of Thanos, right? Through some of the fog cloud that was existing over that and the illusions that were crafted. That is a very similar aspect to that within Thanos' mind.
Okay.
You too were mind fucked.
I ain't telling you fuckers nothing.
That's fair.
If I tell y'all something, we're gonna debate for 3 more days in this goddamn marsh.
We're gonna
Nope,
walk
we're
out. This
continuing on to this
skyscrapers.
Hey, that's fine. Then I can have a rifle. Imagine Thanos with a rifle. So to the tower then. We continue. Everyone got breakfast? Everyone good?
Good old rations.
Pocket bacon.
Yep.
Got
Pocket
Zep's
bacon.
keg of water.
Yeah, and yeah, that he hid in a bag of whole
And
eggs.
the supply of water. Open the bag, hold it.
Yeah, we can shower. We can drink. It's,
Yeah, shower. So much water you can shower. Okay, so you get your rations, you get your drink. Obviously, Thanos, you can easily fetch some fungi that are edible here, roots, right? Digging through, even coming through some of the aquatic creatures of the river, so fish and other things that would be not something you would find within the swamp itself, but the river-wise, you can actually spearfish or use your bow, right, tied to a rope or a crossbow, I should say, fire off bolts, and then just kind of pull them out of the water. So there's an abundance of life here. It's not that it's void of it. There's just pockets that are because of the undead. Something that was showed that you notice the sounds of that salt marsh kind of ended right when you came into the battle. They were ceased all of a sudden. And so just like a predator, right, prey hiding from predators, the prey stop making sounds. They go silent, they hide. So because there's the sounds of the salt marsh and the river and you're being able to, the creatures around you, you feel safe as well, right? That adds to the whole complexity, the whole compound of thing here that you're okay. So we're going to go ahead and take a break. It's a good time before we get to this tower because we'll be heading to the tower here at the start of we come back. So kind of giving you a little bit to work off of is that we're going to get you on the way. So you're beginning to go. You're now at the edge of the river, so the secondary tributary. And that secondary tributary, so we're going 1, 2, 3. This one on the left and on the right showcases to you that this North Satra, this tower here on the north side, this massive thing that goes up a plus 100 feet and then spans a great number of feet of width and as well as length. It's a solid black citadel-like structure with multiple geometric levels in the way it's been designed. It's unclear if there's levels that are interior to the tower that match that. It could just be that it needs this structure to support itself getting that high because it's so wide and so long. It's made of like this blackish kind of rock and it's solid stone. So nowhere do you see these seams of like brick. It seems to be almost like solid in the nature, grafted from one source and just grew. And then as you stare at it, because the fog's being pushed by both the rivers, it actually sits kind of on a rock embedment of itself in the earth. And the water kind of floods in from the left and right, and the grasses help kind of grow around that as well to protect it. And it's kind of being swallowed by the water slowly and slowly, but it's able to wait it off at this point. So that's what you're kind of greeted to. I do want to state for those who are staring at it with your perceptions that are quite high for passive, as well as the, maybe even you, Thanos, being a ranger, is that the tower actually looks natural. And I mean natural in the sense that if you took one singular source of stone and you said, I'm going to make this large and I'm going to grow it, and then I'm going to refine and chisel it a little bit, that's a very good short description of the tower. So something to kind of chew off of what you are going to be coming to here when we get back. So for watching the stream, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. We're going to be back in 10 minutes or so 1:13 p.m. PST. And hopefully you join us when we get back for the second half of the Ill-Fated as they begin to work themselves outside of the marsh. And it looks like heading for the pass of Unyielding. So we'll see what happens in the second half here. So again, thanks so much. We'll see you in a bit.
Bye, chat.
All right. Welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and figure that on. Okay. If you are watching, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. We're going to get with the second half here of the Ill-Fated as we progress to the North Tower here, one of the towers of Norsantra, which is referred to as Norsantra. So as we progress through, still daytime after you have rested, again, light throughout the entire transition here into this day. So you're still in the cusp of light. You are now crossing the river. I'm not going to have a check. This particular river is actually slow going than the other one. So this is not incredibly fast in terms of its current. So it's not going to be any sort of issues to get across here, rolling the athletics. You're just getting kind of wet and soaked, and then you might have to do precipitations, other things when you are finally across. You then begin to trudge through some grassland, making a little bit of an upclimb uphill, right, as you're getting towards the mound and that this tower actually sits upon. And then you're noticing the ingrooving structures of the tower in place within the earth. We are now going to go ahead and activate this new map. I'm also going to remove Lucar from the board until they are needed, potentially for combat. So just not moving their token around while you all are moving. So what you can observe is the structure in the center point of this map. You're coming from the left direction, so you're heading from west to east at this point, because there's not much room in terms of navigating unless you want to waddle through more water. And so you really have to pass through the tower if you wish to stay on dry land and make quick direction, which works perfectly for you all because you are wanting to go to the tower anyways. So it's the quickest direction you can cross, and so you have to go through here anyways. You're continuing your perceptions and being very much aware of what's around you. You don't see any undead around here. There's nothing in front of the tower structure, which faces the north, and doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of things going on. Wildlife still abundant, right, in terms of that, but you can't see any windows. There's no light coming through. Now, the only thing that stands out from this tower is the water that is actually beginning to kind of fall down. The sound itself is a little bit far away, so I'm going to create a kind of a rushing water that I'm going to diminish that sound. It's not super loud. And that actually is falling downwards from the entry. So imagine that there is a cutout here that extends on the north side. There seems to be some black metallic vault-like door with this riveting gold paneling that fits in the center point. Then there's a little bit of a small natural rampart that leads up to that door as the tower itself is kind of cemented down into the earth. So the rock kind of grows around it in a way, right? It seems to be, has that natural quote unquote. Then all the way above, 100 or so feet, right, plus, there is a balcony or an overhang that comes, and that balcony overhang is covered. So there's kind of a gap, like a slit through there, very similar to a bunker. The water is pouring off of that ledge, then falling down 100 feet, crashing down into the ground around the entry. And then that's funneling down, creating that moat, crack, crevasse there. The water is not that much in terms of flow, right? So there's not much water toppling through. It's a very, very faint waterfall that's coming down around the entry. Where the water goes, right, goes into the earth. It's not enough to create like a full moat, right? It's just damp and wet around there. That's what I got for you.
Before we enter the tower, I'm going to cast Fly on myself and like fly around the tower and get like a good view of it around it, and then like what's at the top of it.
Don't get zapped out of the sky.
And before he takes off, because I'm paranoid, I'm also going to put Vigilant Blessing on Varys, just in case. So,
What's Vigilant Blessing?
advantage on initiative if that happens.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to do a case around the tower and then fly to the top.
Okay. So doing a case around the tower, flying to the top, what does the rest of the party do?
I'm gonna head towards the front door. I'll wait for Varys to come back before I open it, but I'm heading for the front door.
Okay. So heading for the front door, now you're getting a full look at this metallic vault door of black, of metal. It's also riddled with veins of the same blackish stone that forms the tower structure. Again, the tower itself is not bricked, it is solid stone. And there are these veins of like yellowish kind of not crystal, but maybe just a yellowish stone, and that's all like lit a little bit through the rock, and then that also goes into the door itself. You're looking for a handle, and you don't necessarily see a handle per se. You just can see that there is a groove forming into like the bowl at the center point of the door, and the groove itself kind of goes inwards into the material, and as if you would put your hand in and then like lay your hand down upon it, and then
Like
kind
a
of
pressure plate.
like an ankle. Maybe you're trying to press a plate or something at a little bit of an ankle. Now, we'll come back to Varys. Varys, you're flying around. The tower is massive, so it takes a little while to go get up there. You realize that the natural stone formation on top is a little bit chiseled to refine down to be flat, but there's still like bumps and like grooves and things. You can't actually see any of the levels per se because there's no windows, there's no nothing. You then fly around to the balcony, that overhang, right, that I described as like that bunker, and you begin to like look through because the water's just flowing down at the bottom. Then that gap between is roughly 6 feet. So it's 6 feet until it reaches the bottom end of the stone. And then the actual water seems to be coming from some sort of statue-like figure holding a bowl with these bluish crystals. And the water's just being created from that bowl, flowing down, filling a pool, and then that is getting full and then toppling over top. You look through that, aim south. The staircase comes up from the pool of water there that's kind of pooling there, and then that goes into the like a blackish marble filled with the same yellowish stone cracks and veins, and that flows the entirety of the space with a few pillars. And then your actual vision, because you don't have dark vision right now, you're really going off of this light source that's coming off from the pillars, which is glowing this yellowish dim light, as well as these green permacrystals that are held by lanterns from wizard-like statues flanking from the west into the east of the structure. But beyond that, there isn't any actual light from the top end here. You can't see much of anything else beyond that. There is a staircase that seems to come up to this level at the center point of the space, and then beyond that, there's no light, right? So that's causing you not to be able to see further into the space.
All right. Well, knowing that I can't really see anything, I'll fly back to the group and just say,
Okay.
I could see a little bit. I saw where the water is being created from, but other than that, I think we'll have to go in the front door.
What is being created?
Yeah, it looks like by magical means.
All of these statues are at the mouth of the rivers. They all operate similarly. They're all creating water. I wonder if the water is the key to maintaining this congruence.
Yeah, which I find it interesting too, because like the whole like the undead in general that has not fondness for water. Yet there's a bunch of it here. I don't know if it's specific to river water or just water in general.
Well, remember, these towers were not originally created to connect to the Shadowfell. They were originally created to connect to the, what is it, the Feywild?
Yes. Well, the connection to the Feywild was already there. These were meant to hold it open before they were corrupted.
So, so we're going to try and go in and peek around a little bit. Is that the idea?
Yeah, if I lose my hand here, just seal the wound. and we'll
Before
figure something out.
you open it, can I take a look at it and see if I can glean how this mechanism works with like an investigation check?
Yeah, you can roll an investigation check. That's true.
Okay,
So
so
23.
wow,
Okay,
nice.
So investigating the door, you realize that there is some plate mechanism at that pressure point, right, that you might have to push in. Could activate the door from the way that the metalwork and the paneling. There is a magical mechanism here that is opening this, not necessarily mechanical in nature. So you're kind of seeing that there might be a power source here. Something's powering this door. If it
And
was
it
to open
doesn't
and
look
close.
like a trap or anything.
Nothing would tell you that this is a trap. You don't find any wiring or other sorts of intricacies at the pressure plate spot and looking through the grooves that might inlay through there. And you're also looking at the hinges of the door. There's nothing that you can tell on this side that would be that it's trapped.
Go ahead, then. I think it's
All
good.
right. Quick question, just in case it's relevant. Who do you think would benefit most to have see invisibility cast on them? Just in case. Like, who's the most?
You see the best.
Yeah,
Well,
you have 300 feet of dark vision.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I totally agree.
All right, I will stick my hand in the groove and press the plate down.
Okay, stick your hand into the groove and press the plate down. As you do, you can hear the sounds of in the stone, kind of this pulsating noise, and then the stone left and right with those yellowish veins actually kind of go low for a brief moment. And then you notice that the door itself kind of pulls out and then folds and then up and then it opens, kind of going towards the top end. The door is 10 feet wide and roughly 12 feet tall, and then it begins to funnel into grooves because the stone is quite thick. It funnels into the grooves of the stonework, that solid stone. The door essentially disappears into the grooves of the up above and to the corners. You look inside, you can see two statues that are kind of flanking the entry space here. And the actual ceiling height is continuing to grow dramatically. The statues themselves seem to be of kind of plain fey-like creatures wearing gowns of flowers and petals. They both have bowls as they do. They kind of hold them outstretched, kind of covering over. One of the bowls has kind of dried kind of herbs, other things that you would imagine vegetation that are long dead and no longer of paramount importance. The other bowl seems to hold gems and jewels, natural stones and things, which are far more resistant to the weathering of time. Those statues are about 8 to 9 feet tall. And then the pillars of the space that continue to press through, showcasing to you really how tall these things are. The ceiling height is 50 feet, and the pillars are supporting that, this first level. The actual obsidian-like rock now that I'm going to call it obsidian, right, kind of fits the vibe of what the colorations is. The yellowish veins within are aglow, seemingly empowered upon opening the door, perhaps. There is a staircase that is suspended by chains anchored with their own solid cylindrical pillars that extends to the 50-foot ceiling height and then continues to another level above. The chains just vibrate and hum very beautifully, almost as if they've been electrified. Permanent green lighting from crystal work comes from the left and to the right. So west and east, your vision or your line of sight is blocked. You cannot see that.
As we walk in, I'm going to cast Mage Armor on myself. But then also, after I do that, I want to try to cast Detect Magic.
So that's the guys, the lanterns.
All right. So Zeph is getting see invisibility.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a 1 hour casting. And that's
Not
gonna give
concentration,
you-
which is awesome.
Yeah, that'll give you detection 300 feet. So
Yeah, that I didn't even think about that when they were saying about it being better for me makes sense. I was thinking like Danos, but since he's usually like the scout, but
yeah. So we have Mage Armor then being casted, Bavaris, and the Detect Magic being cast. You can feel the source of magic in this space is very strong. It's very much empowered, especially from the pillars that extend upwards to the height and maybe even past that. They are electrified with different schools of magic here, all pertaining to almost like a Lehman's tiny hut, or to the fortress. There's a couple of spells that create these different structures and things. This magic in school is pertaining to that. Now, the statues that are holding the crystals, those are wizarding-like fellows with long draping hair, holding down kind of plain drab robes, right? So again, statues are really amorphous in the way they really just show some of the figures unless they've taken some serious refinement. And these are the amorphous kind of mage-like fellows with staffs that kind of hold outwards. And then they kind of hold them out at a slight angle, and then the lantern kind of dangles down by a chain, and there's these large green crystals inside of the glass and metallic lantern hanging from the obsidian stone statue. And that's what's giving off that very much abundance of green light. As you come in, you're looking around. The door behind you is still open. It's not closing. And you can hear the faint hum of the chains and a little bit of the jingle from suspension of the staircase. But beyond that, there is no noise or movement.
Shall we head upstairs? Doesn't look like there's much
I would
down here
have-
besides light.
Well, probably not, but I would advocate at least, at the very least, taking a quick look around just in case we're not missing something just at a glance.
Let's do that.
I want to check out one of these statues.
Yeah, I'll walk up to the statue and see. The school of magic that's coming from the stone, is that the same school that's like the Lehman's tiny hut thing in the area, or?
Oh, in terms of the crystals?
Yeah.
Well, it's a school of invocation magic. It's similar to a light spell, right? It's just been
Oh.
imbued into the object. So
Yeah, can I do a close inspection of, like, say this statue? See if, like, any inscriptions or anything like that that might be missed, or like even a plaque for that matter.
you could make a perception investigation check. At a glance right now, there's no placards or plaques to associate with the statue. It's not representative of, again, a specific figure. It's really maybe what the Morsatra in terms of what they might have looked like with common robes and a staff, and then has these elvish-like features into the face. With these
Can I
long
also
looking
make
hair.
a check on like the statue I'm near?
2015, both of you coming to similar conclusions that their statues themselves are not representative of any one particular person, but they're representative of a whole of what the Mersatra might have looked like in terms of a basic default pattern to them. The statues are large and towering, roughly 30 feet or so they're massive. Specify a little bit more to them, the staff as well are going to be cylindrical, right? And they don't have much to them in terms of runic or other structures. There's no writing. So
No, I'll meet back at the staircase.
okay.
I don't think there's anything we're missing.
Yeah. Which seems like it's kind of weird, to be honest. You would think they would have more on the first floor, at least something.
So as you step onto the staircase, Thanos, there is a pulse tone that begins to kind of echo from the space. As it does, it begins to kind of shoot outwards from the staircase. Then you begin to hear the movement of stonework from the left and right backdropping of this particular space. As that happens, there are two kind of structures that actually walk from a liquefied black stone wall that fit into the encompassing. These hulking 13 to 14 feet crystallized golem structures kind of come outwards with these fractals of energy about them in space. They then could move and turn in the direction of the staircase, wrapping their eyes. I need everyone to roll initiative.
I had to say something.
That's weird, you know. You'd think. Dun, dun, dun.
You guys jinxed it.
You gave me advantage, right?
Yes. Oh, you rolled pretty high on your first go. So.
Yeah, I'll just roll again to see if I get higher. So 17 plus 7.
Plus 3, basically, so 24.
Yeah, 24.
Hmm.
So that puts me at the same initiative as Tegan.
Yeah, you'll be less on
Every-
the.
I
initiative.
mean, everyone except for Mulder rolled pretty well.
Everyone except our frontliner.
That's pretty on brand for Maldor's initiative, though.
I really get like. I need to cast it on him more often, but I keep feeling like I keep favoring him for it a lot, but he seems to need it a lot too. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, he probably does. Especially with now my initiative bonus being so high.
Yeah.
So Tegan, you are first up in round one. You can see that these hulking large golem structures have emerged. It's a very wide open space. There's also a lot of lighting here on this floor, and you can see that they are hyper focused now, turning, and they are beginning to kind of move and picking up the pace towards the staircase.
Huh. Love that reaction.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I'm not going to say what the fuck is going on because that would be stereotypical. Mate. We've evolved as a character.
Yeah, we can't have that happen.
Shatter.
We've evolved as a character, you know. We make strides.
This would be a shatter moment.
This
They're
would
kind
be.
of forced. They're spread out.
Am I in range, though? That's the question.
Add?
Can
Okay.
you be in range is the question.
60 feet is the range of shatter, right?
Yeah, they're definitely out of range
Yeah,
currently.
they're out of range.
Although you could probably move and then get in range, but you have to get
Yeah,
closer
you
to
can
them.
move and cast them.
I think I'm going to pop this out real quick. Like, did I target myself? I can't tell. I did.
It's like
Shatter on yourself.
they'll never
Shit.
see it.
I'm a shadow our group.
No,
They'll
I'm
never
shatter
gonna
you.
pull it. I'm gonna pull a Thanos and say deuces.
Oh, you're doing the
Nice.
greatest. Yeah. This is super bugged. It's super bugged right now.
Yeah,
I've seen it
it's
come through.
It
This
did
is
that
happening.
like 4 times.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh God, I'm pentuple invisible.
Fine, hold on. It's okay.
Holy shit!
I
The
know.
one guy
Like
whose
that.
computer is at risk of exploding at any given second.
Oh
there
man.
you go. All good.
Alrighty. And then, you know, breaking stereotypes.
Darkest.
We're gonna give Thanos Bardic Inspiration.
Hey!
I don't feel like he needs it at all.
No.
but-
I love it.
I love how much you've gotten into Tegan's head.
He's gone one session.
One session, the DM controls and realizes that I know their character far too well. It changes up.
Listen, I feel like the comedic relief of Tegan's internal but external crisis is what keeps
Yeah.
this party alive. So,
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think we should definitely assume these guys have early attacks.
yeah, and I think, yeah, they'll do it.
All right, Varys, you are up next.
All right. I'm going to shift over here and not light him up with a lightning bolt.
A lightning bolt. Okay.
That's not fireball.
All right, so as you send off the lightning bolt into the direction of the creature, you can see it immediately kind of track you with its movements. As you fire it off, it strikes through, electrifying it, almost empowering it for a brief moment. Then some of the fractals of it begin to kind of wipe and kind of break off. The creature seems to not only have saved on their saving throw, kind of moving themselves from the lightning bolt, watching and tracking you, but they also have resistance to the damage.
Of course.
7
Alright.
points of lightning damage.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not
I'll
nice.
shift back over, and that's it for me, guys.
Right, you can now see that it tracks and it's now moving at a full run. Gets to about 40 feet at this point, stops, and then kind of pitches its foot into the ground. The ground kind of sparks with the same glowingness of the yellow, but actually increases, aimed towards the staircase. The staircase then, which would normally be stairs, turn in, and it changes into a slide or a ramp. It's extremely steep. Thanos,
Well,
you grab on to the of the railing, right, with 2 hands, and then begin to hold on, but your feet have completely come from underneath you. It's not at an angle that you could even stand on. So you're having now to like hold on at this point. It then stops, raises its fists, and this voice echoes outwards. It begins to speak in a language that is Sylvan. So you are able to understand this. And I don't think anybody else speaks Sylvan in the party, if I recall correctly.
No.
Intruder, intruder, and he continues to almost like repeat that. All right, we come to Lucar.
Intruder.
Lucar do? Well, Lucar's probably going to put a Shield of Faith on as a bonus action. That's what they normally do. So Shield of Faith popping on, give him some extra AC for the bonus, and then we're just going to have Lucar run up. So that's what Lucar does. Are going to take the Beta Berry Thute and come in for a Mighty Swing.
Sounds about right.
29 hits. Strikes in, deals a total of 16 points of slashing damage. As it does, it kind of breaks into the crystal framework. Then it's going to go in for the secondary attacks. They have extra strike. And that is going to be a 15, which is going to hit as well. They're going to deal a total of 16 points of damage. And then they're going to attack on a Divine Smite, dealing an extra 12 points of radiant damage to the creature. End of Lucar's turn. Zephyr up next.
Cool. So I'm going first to Twilight Sanctuary, which I still target myself, right? First.
I
Or does it
actually
matter?
don't think it matters now. I think you just pop it and it should automatically do it.
Let's check.
When I
Yeah.
tested it, it just did it.
Hey,
Hey,
Yeah, it works. It moves and everything.
I guess I'll give you the light too. There you go.
And I'm now considered in dim light, right? Because of the twilight, anyway.
Yeah, you're in dim light. You have bright light around you, so the bright light is going to oversee the dim. So there is bright light, and that's being emanated from the green crystals. But currently, at your position, that bright light doesn't actually reach you. So all around you, from the yellowish veins, it's all dim. So everything's just compounded dim.
Well, I was mainly wondering for terms if I wanted to use Steps of Night. Which
Yeah,
I
I
have
mean,
to
you
be
can-
in. Yeah, I have to be in dim light for the initiate.
Yeah,
that.
around you is dim light. I'm basically saying that don't go
Yeah.
don't go any
Yeah,
further
yeah.
near the statues. Right, it's only the central part and the back end or the forefront of the tower. It's dim.
Yeah. So I am going to do that in my bonus. And I'm going to just go up 15 feet, say.
Okay.
All
Sounds good.
right. And I'm probably going to move it back a little bit. And...
Okay.
Oh, hold on, I want to make sure Lucar stays in. Okay, now I'm good.
All right, so it's gonna roll, and then I have to apply. So that should be an applied. It's like a
Oh,
14
okay.
temporary HP too. So it's automatically gonna roll, and then I just have to apply it. And then if
Okay.
you have frightened or other condition right associated, it will actually pop up with a window now. It'll tell us
Oh,
you don't
sweet.
use it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Thanos, it is your turn. So right now you have to occupy your hands and holding, but that doesn't mean you can't just like let go and slide down from the staircase, right? And then go at the bottom of the staircase. It will take some of your movement to do so, but it's not an action or bonus or anything.
Okay. Yeah, I would do that then. I would let go so that way I could come down the stairs.
Okay.
I'm guessing I would end up in front of Maldor.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Then I'm actually gonna walk out, and in Sylvan, I want to respond to them. I'm gonna try something. We are not intruders. Kalima sent us to check on the mechanism for the congruence. And I'll just kind of have my crossbow out, but I'm not, like, trying to fight them.
Okay.
I will end my turn there.
All right. Maldor, you're up next.
Oh. Oh, move. It's tricky navigating. Can't quite make it behind. Bonus action. Summon out the echo.
Okay.
It's going to attack.
Okay. So coming in for attack, the huge size creature, you can't occupy the space, right? So you're getting underneath the creature on
Oh,
its
am I
like
in
left
it?
side. Yeah,
Wait.
you can be underneath. You can basically be directly underneath it. It's a huge size creature. You can occupy the space.
Oh, could I have gone under it then? Because I could have
Yeah,
gone
you can
straight
go.
under
You
it,
can go under it. Yep.
like there. Yeah, so
Mhm.
that would have put me there. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, so I can flank it.
You can.
Excellent. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna turn that on. And go to town.
All right. So you come across for the
I
first
forgot
strike.
that advantage.
Yeah. No worries. Go ahead and roll again. All right. So a 15 is going to land. We're going to take the 29 points of damage. This is the first damage that was rolled. As you come across for the first strike with the axe here, it is going to deal 29 points of damage, cutting into its crystalline flesh. You're kind of splintering multiple fragments of crystal off of it. Takes the blow, and again, unfazed by being struck, but you're noticing that it's more and more of it's being chipped away.
We'll attack again.
Okay, coming across for another strike here, 9, unsuccessful. So you come across now, aimed, the leg kind of moves, so it's like turning itself, and then you just glance the axe, and it just kind of glances against the crystal instead of coming in and puncturing it.
And we will. Unleash Incarnation. Attack with the Echo.
21 with the Echo is going to hit. It deals a total of 31 total points of slashing damage as you take the dark steel ringing through as it slashes into the crystal, continues to take the blows, and still stands.
All right, this turn.
All right, ending turn. We now come to the next one here. The next one begins to approach. It moves roughly 30 feet or so. It then vocalizes in Sylvan, "Stand down, lower your weapons." Just kind of turns its body, rotating, and then continues to move in the direction. Its entire movement speed towards its fellow friend. Ending turn. Tegan Drip next.
Deegan's halfway to Fort Farron.
Tegan's gone.
How does it feel, Thanos?
Oh, it's great.
Not knowing where your friends are. It's
I-
nerve-wracking, isn't it?
No, not at all, because I trust you guys.
It's that
Also-
we don't trust him.
Zeph can still see you. He's just-
Yeah, I
Also
put-
true.
It seemed to wipe the detection mode away from you when I put light on, so I went ahead and put it back on. So you should be able to see them, Zeph.
Bonus action, Bardic. To Lucar.
Oh, what was that? Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then, what? I mean, I'm just looking at my spell list, and there's not really much I can.
Yeah, Shatter's coming out. Ooh, I'm so surprised.
Look at that.
I'm so surprised. Bardic Inspiration, Luca, and Shatter. Is that exactly what the deal was doing? Yeah, it was. It was, because that's what you do.
There's not really much.
Throw it down. Okay, so coming through with the Shatter, 14 points of thunder damage. I was re-rolling the die as well because they're inorganic, so they have disadvantage of the check. So 14 points of thunder damage rings true, and as the damage is dealt, it seems to be vulnerable to thunder damage. Takes 28 total points of damage. As it does, it rings to the crystals, kind of like a wine glass effect, right? Smashes multiple chunks off of it. Takes the blow.
And then I will. I'll kind of use my movement to keep my distance, but come up behind it.
Okay.
Because it didn't seem to turn towards me as if it could see me. But if it has
That's
tremor
right.
sense within a certain amount of feet, I'm fucked. But it's the risk we take.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Turn whenever you'd like.
And that'll be it.
Okay. Vera, sure, next.
Yeah, I'm going to move over here to like kind of tuck into the corner. I then hold a magnified gravity spell to see what these people, if they can be reasoned with. And that'll end my turn.
Okay, well, what is the in terms of like the trigger?
If they continue to attack us, or if like basically if they attack one of our party members, I'm gonna let the spell go. But if they don't, I'm not gonna use it.
Okay. Digging your hot mic, just FYI. Okay, I got the trigger here. All right. So this one here, that's out in front, right? We kind of was saying intruders, and Sylvan. So Thanos is really the only one who's understanding. And now kind of picks itself up a little bit, stands upright, and then kind of slowly like looks down towards the ground. And the yellow flooring around it begins to channel up through, and it seems to do some sort of recharge, as if it's kind of regrowing its crystal structures. Some of them begin to heal here, giving it back 19 points of health. So some of the fractals of its structure begin to like regrow. As that happens, it continues to vocalize, almost as if the compatriot now kind of joining together. Lower your weapons. And they continue to kind of continue in the Sylvan language to lower your weapons to stop. Lucar's up next. Now, what would Lucar do? That is truly the question here. I feel like Lucar would swing.
Deal with the Vengeance Paladin swinging? No.
Yeah. He also doesn't speak Sylvan, so like he still doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, there's not much that they just see this whole thing coming at them. There's not much they're going off of here. So we're going to get the advantage here with the flank, swinging the sword. Coming in for the first strike, doesn't need the Bardic Inspiration die at all. So a 30 is going to hit with the advantage. Deals a total of 14 total points with the first strike, and then it's going to go in for the second strike. And does not need Bardic Inspiration. Natural 20.
Nice.
And that deals a total of 29 total points of damage to the creature. As you see that the creature is smashed into bits and pieces of chunks of rock as it does, it kind of gets hit. I'm going to ping the stream view. The stream view got messed up. As it comes through, it just kind of come with the blade into the leg, shatters the leg, and pulls the blade towards the torso as it goes down to a half knee, hits into it, and then that just shatters into a pile of that reddish crystal. Then in the pile, what you notice is a intricate, like opal coloration glass sphere, and that just kind of lands downwards in the pile of crystal. The card then turns its direction, moving 30 feet, aimed at the next one. All right, Zeph, you're up next.
All right. Let's see. I still don't know anything, so I'm going to guess get a beat on the next guy. Let's see. Yeah. I probably won't do much, but I'll just do Toll the Dead on it. That's terrible.
All right, so you throw out the Toll the Dead. It seems that this creature is immune to the damage, necrotic damage. Takes none.
I hate these guys.
All right. I'm gonna look at everybody. I don't think we need to kill them. We may be able to get them to fix this, and I'm going just
Why you say that?
put your weapons away. They just think we're intruders.
I mean, we kind of are.
Not kind of, we are.
I mean, kind of, but I name dropped Kalima.
And we did just destroy one.
Look, I'm hedging my bets here because I don't really want to climb a slide.
That is a problem.
Ah.
I agree.
Fair enough.
I'm going to step between everyone and kind of this other one except for Lucar because he's further ahead than I can get. And in Sylvan, I'm going to look at it. It was a misunderstanding with the other one. We're here because of Kalima. Please let us up the stairs. And I will end my turn.
There's a
To be fair, I don't think he's dead.
Yeah, probably, but
I don't think so either. I think you have to destroy that like orb thing.
Maldo will move along with the Echo to flank Thanos on either side. And he will just hold an attack if the thing attacks one of us.
Okay.
Waiting to see if Thanos' plan is going to work. And that will end his turn.
All right, ending turn, you can see this hulking construct, this crystallized golem, begins to outstretch his hand in the direction of its fellow here, its companion, and it begins to spend its action as the lighting begins to become energized, and then the crystals then begin to smash into the orb as it is healing its friend. Rises. As it regrows, almost like a gravity well from the orb itself kind of clings to. As it does, it kind of regrows itself, standing tall. It then makes moves 10 feet towards Lucar, and then ends the turn, continuing to repeat, lower your weapons. Ian, you're next.
I think I will. I don't know if I. Does the party have an understanding that we're trying to get them to stop attacking us, so we're putting our weapons away?
I mean, Thanos just kind of called it out finally.
yeah.
Thanos finally called it out, so it's pretty much comes to the round here of what you all are going to do with your actions.
All right. Well, they can't see my weapon, so I'll just take the hand crossbow out, and I'll hold an action. And if one of us, if any member of our party takes a hostile action, I will shoot.
Okay.
Party member?
Basically, if we attack him, he's adding on to
Oh, I thought he meant if any of us took a hostile action, he would shoot us. I was like, that's an interesting tactic.
No.
Thanos, is that you?
Hey, got it.
All right. Ferris, you're next.
I'm not taking any kind of combat action. I think I want to see how this plays out. Okay. So.
Coming to the one that has just been brought back to its station. As it does as it stands up, and again continues to recharge itself, growing more of the crystals as they regrow.
So they're not hard to put down; they're just hard to keep down.
Continue to kind of grow themselves, the fractals. It then begins to kind of look, you're like in the air above it, kind of a little bit, right, Zeph? Your space.
Yeah. I don't like this.
He just like kind of raises its gauntlet, its fist up towards you.
I like kick it with my feet.
Lower yourself down. Let's continue.
I like it up here. Of course, I had. Was that in Sylvan or?
That was in
That was
Sylvan.
in Sylvan.
Everything in communication
yeah.
with these has been in Sylvan. Now come to Lucar. Lucar is holding an action to strike, makes any hostile attacks against it or party around. And now we come to Zeph.
Well, I don't know what it said. I just know it's reaching up for me. I definitely would be getting away from it, though. That's for sure. Disengage. Well, I probably wouldn't disengage, but
Just flying away.
But yeah, flying away, and it looks like we're holding. So I'll also hold Toll the Dead if they attack.
Okay, so we've all gone around the horn here for those that have not taken holds, and it seems like everyone's taking holds or preparing. So we're actually going to end combat. There's not a reason that we need to stick in with combat here. Because if everyone's just going to hold an action, we'll just re-roll initiatives if it comes to these sorts of things.
Yeah.
So
Makes
ending this, you see that the golem in front of Lucar, as it does, the next one continues to recharge itself. They both are now recharging at the same time that they're speaking. So they are rolling their recharges through this conversation. So I'm just going to kind of prompt the rolls here. They're continuing to regrow themselves, splintering refractals from their structures. I managed to put a minus on that, sorry. It seems to be quite quick that they're able to regrow. So the crystals are really kind of forming super fast. It's epicenter of the center of the chest, right? Speaks in Sylvan towards Thanos, the one that seems to be healthier, the one that hasn't really taken a brunt of the damage. What is the passcode?
Oh, great.
Passcode.
That's right.
Oh boy.
Keen mind.
We were never told a passcode for the towers. I was just name dropping. I'm gonna look at everyone. Any ideas on a passcode? I'm gonna say in common, because these things seem to only understand Sylvan or speak in Sylvan.
Were we given
You are
any-
not stored in the database of the Codex.
Were we given
Yeah.
any kind of passcode thing to these?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
So yeah.
What was the name of the tree?
Talos, Thanos, Kalima was one of theirs, wasn't she?
That Kalima was the one that corrupted the towers
Yeah,
last.
she split off from them, but she was originally one of the Salanar.
Correct. I
She
name
corrupted
dropped
the,
her.
She
And
corrupted the tower with powers from Talos.
that's why I
You
was
could-
thinking
You
Talus
could
may be the
say
passcode.
Talus. Go for it.
I will respond with Talus in Sylvan. However that translates.
Alice.
Alice. Passcode is incorrect. Talus associated in the database of the Codex as Salinar. Salinar are enemies. It pulls
dear.
itself back, continuing to regrow themselves. See that it kind of closes and like looks upwards. As it does, it looks down. So the lighting in the room and the space begins to darken.
And we killed him now.
Door shuts.
Killing them may be our best bet.
Locks.
Unless anyone knows of a secret passcode.
No.
I wish.
Wait, what was Varys, Keen Mind, what was the name of the druids? The old elf.
What was the
in
name of
Fort Fair?
her druid tribe? Yeah, Peyton doesn't remember. Maybe Varys does.
Was the
I know they're born in flowers in the Feywild, and they're essentially the Feywild version of the Saladar. Don't remember what they're called.
While this is happening, can Tegan attempt to climb the stairs?
slide?
The slide.
The opening of the stairs are here. You got to try to get up the slide if you'd like. Yeah, you can try.
The Freljord was what they're in. Not that Maldor would remember that, but Adam wrote it down.
Well, Satra, we'll see you. See the shadow begin to envelop. In the backdrop of the corner is a creature of pure nightmare. It seems to be a humanoid, but it's forming of wraps of different shadow work, and large wings resemble that of the Nightwing bat. It has in its possession a scythe, which is eerily also similar to Varys at the present moment. as mimicking the same design and the style of Orsivis's scythe. It is hovering in the air, roughly 35 feet in the air, as the scythe kind of wiles up, kind of moves with the swath of the shadow, and that kind of catches up with it. The voice kind of emanates through. Who intrudes upon this tower?
Hi.
Speak your name, intruder.
I will step forward. I am Thanos, spawn of Orsivis.
And you spawn of Orsivis, know that the towers of Norsatra are off limits to your kind. So you, coming here, must have broken the bonds and the chains of thy master, and brought ones that would be harmful to thy master. And you also brought one who has been touched by the Mind Viper themselves. You are a fool.
Yep.
And all of your friends.
We don't disagree.
We were just on our way out of the marshes and happened to swing by, so we wanted to see what everything was about.
Silence. You not utter another word in my tower. And the one who lurks through the shadows. Stop trying to climb the stairs.
The fuck?
You will not reach Mohana or Forhan. The Codex and all what lies above is not for you to witness. I will give you trespassers one opportunity, one chance. Scythe left and right as the large hulking figures begin to back step roughly 20 feet away. Leave thy tower and do not return.
Gurgash isn't here, is he? I'm going to ask the figure in the air.
Uttered another word. Do everyone roll initiatives?
Oh my god.
Fuck.
Do I still have initiative or
You
bonus?
do. You have advantage. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so 13's my highest roll.
So what we have is real.
Motherfucker. I
That's
went
correct.
24 to 10.
I'm in the same spot though.
Well, it's not Gurgash, so Thanos, since he doesn't get to kill everyone else, is going to kill this thing. Has been decided. So I will take aim, and yeah, we will shoot.
All right, firing your first arrow at 12 is not a hit. You see it just kind of flutters to the left as the bolt zigs into the backdrop.
All right, I will take my next attack. I am rolling
12
like
again.
crap today.
Flies continuing to move with dexterous speed.
All right,
Eating you with those large damage numbers.
yeah, man. I will not have sharpshooter on. And then using my feature where first round of initiative I get an extra attack, I will take. Oh, I clicked the wrong button.
That's quite a
I
feat.
alt tab to check something and I clicked the wrong button.
Ended your turn.
Wait. In the calculation
Ah.
for that last shot, it says that he didn't add the bardic.
he would still have it because of unfailing inspiration, right?
Oh, I
Right.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah, unfailing, so you continue to use it until you succeed.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't prompt me for it, so I didn't even think about it.
Well, yeah, it's
Um,
gonna wipe it, and then I have to put it back on manually. So
Okay, I'll just
you,
roll
you
a
can
d8
roll
for that last
yeah,
one.
just roll a d8 for the
Yeah.
next one. 15.
Alright.
You're unsuccessful.
Okay, that's
Who's
fine.
that?
So the third attack.
Putting your
what-
contribution to that.
What about
Yeah,
the second
probably.
attack?
Used
Or
it.
can you only use it once per turn?
You,
I'm guessing a 31 hits.
They used it for the first attack. They rolled a d8. They failed. They used it for the second attack,
Oh, okay.
and they failed. They have it for the third attack now. They roll 23, and they decide to use it, and they have succeeded at a 31. So the bolt lands. This creature has resistance to magical and non-magical piercing damage. Takes a 6.
That's a little scary.
That is very, very scary. So for my bonus action, instead of using my extra shot, seeing that one land and not do as much damage, I am actually going to Hunter's Market. For some reason, that didn't cast. Spells. I'm targeting it. Hunter's Mark. Okay, there we go. And then I will step 20 feet this way, and I will end my turn.
Ending turn looks upon you, points the scythe at your direction. As the pointing of the scythe comes, you notice that chains begin to envelop, targeting you from the ground.
Oof.
Failing with a 7. As the chains erupt, exploding up from the ground, they then wrap around your wrist, pulling you to the floor. As that happens, you are paralyzed and you are restrained. Paralysis begins to seep in from the chains, and your vision becomes tunneled and black, begins to become wavy as the scythe begins to point. The creature then laughs. Flies upwards into the floor of the wall, through the ceiling, and disappears out of line of sight. Aldor, you're next.
I am absolutely sick and tired of fucking flying things. Well, that one's gone. I'm gonna hit something else. Just gonna move this way. Bring the echo with him.
Okay.
And he will attack this guy.
All right, come in for a swing. Ooh, 13. That is not going to land as you come across with your great axe. You swing, the creature takes a step back horizontally, then you come forward, taking a step, and coming downwards. 24 is going to connect, go into its right, like kneecap region. Deals a total of 16 points of slashing damage.
And that will end his turn.
All right, Varys, you're up next.
Yep, we're gonna cast Magnify Gravity. On this-
Okay, throwing off Magnified Gravity, the creature is going to succeed with a 27. It's going to half the force damage to 5. It is not pulled to the center point.
That's not the sinkhole. That would have his speed. So
Oh, it's the. Oh, yeah. I always get them. Honestly, both of them are so similar in their effect.
yeah, they are.
One's slowing speed, the other one's sucking.
Yeah. All right, that's it for me.
All right, ending turn, Zaf, we come to you. Now, I have actually been keeping track of time throughout the rolls here. You actually have only 2 rounds that your Twilight Sanctuary will still be up, because Twilight Sanctuary only lasts a minute. So
Yeah.
I was trying to make that as realistic as possible and give you a little bit of benefit of the doubt. So you only have 2 rounds. So this round and the next will be.
That's plenty of time to kill him.
Plenty of time.
Hmm. I guess I'll do Moonbeam. I'll upcast it a little bit to third. And I'll toss it at this guy.
So no roll, obviously, yet
Yeah.
for that, but we will get to that.
But I will also move over a little bit more. That should do me.
All right, we now come to Lucar here. Lucar is going to stride forward using its movement speed, their movement speed as best as they can to come 30 feet there on the left side of the creature. They then are going to look at the creature and go in for 2 swings. The first swing comes through. They are going to use their Bardic Inspiration for this. They are going to succeed on the attack, dealing a total of 17 total points of damage. They then are going to go in for their secondary attack, swinging away. That is going to be a 13, which is going to miss. So both of those are really bad. And then it's going to come through just wildly as the creature kind of turns itself, kind of lowers its arm. The blade kind of strikes for a glancing blow. It's unable to connect. That is going to be the end of Lucar's turn. We're now going to come to the creature. The creature is going to make 2 slam attacks. One aimed with its right fist in the direction of Maldor. So Maldor, it's coming down upon you with a natural 20.
I'll use my Chrono Shift to make it re-roll that.
All right, so it's not going to be a critical, but it is still going to deal damage here. In total, it deals a 30 points of bludgeoning damage to you as the slam comes
I am
downwards,
glad
swinging
that
into
wasn't
you
a critical.
and to the floor. That would have been absolutely nuts if that was a critical. Then it's going to go in for the secondary slam, and this is on Lucar, triggering your Sentinel. You would take an attack of opportunity. 23 of the slam is going to hit Lucar. Lucar's hit for 29 total points of bludgeoning damage, crushing into them, succeeding with a con save for the Shield of Faith, bracing. 15 with your attack of opportunity is going to hit, deals 19 total points of damage to the creature as you take the opportunity, slicing into its leg, chipping away its right leg as it's turned to attack your friend. That is the end of the creature's turn. It makes no movements forward. Tegans, you're up next.
All right. This is looking significantly worse than we were a couple minutes ago.
Do you want to state here, greater visibility is a minute as well. So you're on the same block as your compatriot, your friend here. So you have 2 rounds worth of visibility left.
Yep. I'm going to just go ahead and do what I can.
Okay. Let's see what you got.
Thinking about switching it up.
You are? Or a shatter? I feel like shatter's coming. Shatter's coming. Shatter's coming. I mean, it actually makes sense. They take more damage than thunder damage. They also
I
disadvantage.
mean, the
from
shatters
like,
is fucking
shatter is
annoying,
really
yeah.
powerful. The damage to these creatures makes so much sense. A 14 again.
God
that's
damn,
nuts.
dude. What the
And that was with an
fuck?
outcast. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Are you targeting the one that's near Lucar and Maldor?
No.
Oh, the one to your left.
Did it not place it?
It didn't place it. It's fine. I just made it roll the save anyways.
Okay.
Really cool. All right, it's going to fail its saving throw, and also is vulnerable, so it takes 28 total points of thunder damage.
2183. That's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
that sucks. Horrible rolls. I'm so sorry. Anything else in your turn?
Not for right now.
Go ahead and end your turn whenever you'd like. All right. Whoa. Oh, I was trying to roll the temporary HP. Okay, cool. So we now come to this column here on the top right. This is in the Moonbeam, so starting off its turn there, it's going to make a Constitution saving throw. So go ahead and roll damage for your Moonbeam.
Go.
All right, coming through with the Moonbeam. Nice roll there, 23. It is going to fail it because it gets a natural 1. So it's going to take 23 total points of radiant damage. It then is going to have difficult terrain passing through, so that's a total of 30 feet to get to that point. But it actually moves 40 feet in total, so it's going to move the additional 10 here. Zeph, you are actually within reach of this creature. This creature has 10 feet that it can reach. It then is going to reach outwards and attempt to grapple you with its fist.
No.
So make an opposing athletics or acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
17 is not good enough to beat a 29. You are grappled by the creature as it catches you, and the strength of this creature is supernatural. It is extremely strong. As it does, it wraps its crystal-like flesh around you, and then grips tightly and takes its secondary attack to slam you into the earth. So it's taking, kind of grabbing you from the air and then coming downwards with its fist to take you into the floor. In order to do that, it still needs to make an attack. So
What did I ever do to you except for attack
slam
you?
at you? 25 is going to hit you. You take a total of 28 total points of bludgeoning damage, and you are brought down to 0 in terms of your elevation because you're on the floor of the ground. You are succeeding. Your moonbeam's still up, but it's not looking good. You are in the grasp of the creature and now have essentially on the floor. You're unable to move. That's the end of the creature's turn. Thanos, you're up next. Top of round 2.
Okay. Well, I'm paralyzed and everything, so nothing I can do.
Correct. You are. As you're sitting there with the chains and paralysis around you at the end of your turn, and you should make a charisma saving throw.
Okay. I will go ahead and make the throw. My turn.
All right, 11 is not successful, ending turn. You are at least taking some of the advantages here from the sanctuary. You then begin to see the fluttering of the shadow emerging from the ceiling height directly above you. The creature now is roughly 40 feet to the 50 ceiling height and is visible as it reforms and shapes itself with the scythe. It then points it down in the direction of you, Thanos. As the scythe comes downwards, you begin to feel that there is something pulling from your soul, draining it from you. And there is no save that you can do in this state of paralysis. You succumb to 21 total points of necrotic damage as you are siphoned with your soul, pulling from it into the creature. That is a bonus action of this creature. The creature then begins to look in the direction of Zeph, who is prone on the ground, really, and then held by the creature, and is extending its scythe towards you as chains begin to erupt from the ground to now do the same as what it did to Thanos as to you. 12 is going to be a failure. That happens, the chains of paralysis and restraints begin to erupt around you, and you are swallowed. In a prone in position, kind of they now wrap around you tightly, clinging you to the ground, and the same tunneling and blackish energy of your vision becomes swollen. As its voice rings outwards, your souls are mine. Just kind of chuckles and laughs to itself.
Denied.
Continues. Ends its turn. Invisible range. Out, going through the ceiling once more. Maldor, you're next.
Flying creatures. Virus Tegan, deal with the flying one somehow. Bring it on the ground. He will move into a flank position. The echo will slip up. Sorry, my targeting is being weird.
That's because I think Lugar's
Oh.
underneath it, so it's pretty
Double
getting the advantage
twos.
there. Double twos. 5 is not going to land as you come in for a flank position as it turns and focuses to you. Getting baited as it kind of turns, you come across and you slice, but it pulls itself backwards. It's just a bad miss. It comes and not lands with any of the crystal structure. You're going for the secondary attack with the advantage, and it looks like that 21 is going to hit. Now coming top down, plunking right into the crystal flesh. You deal a total of 24 total points to the creature, and then takes it and breaks apart with its center chest.
And Unleash Incarnation. I'll attack it one more time.
Okay. Coming across with the Unleash Incarnation, attacking from the Echo's position. 22 is going to hit, getting a very solid roll there. 25 total points of damage as it comes through and connects into its leg, splintering it, kind of falls down almost to a half knee, then slowly picks itself back up, still alive.
That will end his turn.
All right, ending turn. We now come to Varus.
I'm going to gravity sinkhole, the one that's in the air, pulling him as close to the ground as possible.
Okay, so it's a 20-foot sphere. You're trying to aim it towards the left, catching them at the top right.
Yeah.
Okay. The DC set forth is a 16. They succeed with a 20. They're going to half the damage. Force damage here. 17 total points of damage. And they are not pulled.
Alright, and then I'll take my movement to shift this way around the staircase.
All right, ending turn. Zeph, all I need from you is a charisma saving throw.
Yeah, charisma.
19. It's just enough to succeed as you're breaking
my
through
God.
this curse that has been applied to you, it seems. You begin to remove the shackles by focusing your mind. The paralysis and restraints do end, but that is unfortunately the end of your turn.
Yeah, that's the end of
That
the turn.
effect
So.
is removed.
Awesome.
We now come to Lucar here. Apply the temp HP back to you, Zeph. You still have it on. Lucar is going to take the flank here, swinging away. I rolled 1. 21. You want me to crit fish with Lucar?
Might as well.
Okay. I heard a yes. That's what I'm doing. Roll it again. Ooh, almost actually. That was close. It's 19. Okay. So it deals total 18 total points of damage for the first strike, which is actually going to be enough to bring the creature down. As it does, it topples in the back and it raises up with a large conic roar, jabbing the Baneberry through into the central part of its back. It then explodes in a bunch of different crystal fragments. They then take their next attack. They take the Baneberry through and they swing it onto the spherical opal that's at the center of the crystalline pile. As that blade comes down, it punctures in the crystalline vial and then kind of splinters, and this little bit of an essence of stuff just kind of slowly wisp out. And now the opal glass is broken and void of any color. They then are going to take their movement speed, moving at 30 feet, and they're headed in the direction of the next one that has the grapple, and also providing more protection onto you, Zeph. That's going to be the end of their turn. Tegan, you're up next.
Definitely should have done this last round. Forgot Thanos was in a bind. I will give Bardic Inspiration to our sneaky boy.
I appreciate that because with the 19 as the success, I literally have to roll a 20.
Yeah.
No way.
We need all the help we can get.
Thanos, if you could not, be chained right now, that'd be cool.
You got it.
You got it.
You got it, buddy.
Mm.
And then we're gonna do a thing.
Oh, a thing? Another
Upcast.
shatter?
And if I roll another 14, I'm just gonna leave.
I'm gonna lose.
I'm gonna leave.
Don't say that because it could be really bad.
No.
22. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to roll the saving throw again because it's inorganic. Make sure we get another check through. It is going to succeed this go around. So it takes a total of 22 total points of damage because it is vulnerable. So the halves really do. They kind of cancel, right? The times 2 and the half, they cancel out. So it's going to take the flat 22 on the explosion. It does. It rings outwards, breaks parts most of its crystal, but it continues to pin Zeph into the floor.
Ow.
And I will end my turn.
All right, ending turn. We now come to the Guardian that has Zeph currently grappled. It then is going to rotate its position with you pinched roughly 5 feet and go in for a slam attack with its right fist in the direction of Lucar. It's going to be a 24, which is going to hit them. They take approximately 26 total points of bludgeoning damage as they're smashed into the ground, ending their Shield of Faith as they lose focus on their concentration. They then take their second in the multi for you, Zeph, which you're grappled, so they're just kind of picking you up and bam, back down into the ground. So
Were you the Hulk?
Repeat here. 23 is going to hit you, and you're hit with 29 total points of bludgeoning damage.
Ow.
Prompts you for concentration. You succeed on your con save here because your temporary HP, right, is really kind of soaking. And at the end of their turn,
glad
though,
for that temp HP.
at the end of their turn, I'm going to have it paused really quickly because the Twilight is ending. So we're out of the Twilight here. So let's end the Sanctuary, which is going to kind of lag because it has to take it off of everybody here.
I think
and then
Twilight ends at my turn, right?
I had it basically count with the ticker based on the rolls. I was having to go through 2 successful rounds. If we did it at your turn, it would be at the end of your turn for the casting, which would have ended earlier. But I wanted to give, again, more benefit to the doubt. I wanted to get through the round completely before I ended those conditions. And then your concentration and greater visibility is ending as well. So both those are minute castings, and those are ended at the top of round 3, which would have, again, normally ended at your turn. But because I wanted to give you a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, since we went through dialogue, we paused that. So, Thanos, we now come to you. Please make a charisma saving throw.
What could possibly go wrong here?
27.
Nice.
Oh, natural 20.
I did roll the natural 20.
You did. You rolled a natural 20. You didn't even need it.
I look.
You literally said,
better
"Oh, I
safe than
need to
sorry.
get." You said it. You said, "I need to roll 20," and you literally did it. You literally
safe
said
than
it, and then
sorry.
you rolled it.
I'm gonna still take credit for that, but you can have that
That's
one.
why I wanted to use it. I
He
had
was
to give
smart.
Tegan the use. Yeah.
So as you break free of the chains, you see as this shadowy figure looks towards you, kind of looks and then points the scythe once more, bringing up the chains again to enthrall you. Prompts you.
Should have saved that bardic inspiration.
I should have saved the bardic inspiration. It's fine. There's another nat 20.
As you
Or
break
not.
free and your vision becomes again paralyzed, again restrained. The creature then flies upwards, disappearing into the ceiling height.
Why is it always a gelatinous cube or a fucking invisible bat or a fucking chains coming out of the ground?
Thanos is just cursed, dude. Like, actually
Haldor, you're
cursed.
next.
All right.
Just happened to be in the turn order that sucked.
Sure.
The Echo is gonna move to 30 feet. Bonus action, rope-a-dope.
Rope-a-dope coming in. Rope-a-dope.
Beep.
And then Maldor will take the rest of his movement, or most of it,
Okay.
to get behind the creature. Zeph is currently being pummeled, so I'm not going to count that as
Yeah.
a flank, guys.
Yeah, no flank is there. Yeah, no flank is there.
look threatening.
Yeah, Zeph's like, oh,
I'm distracting him with my death.
Meat grinder.
Maybe if Maldor was riding on its back.
All right. I went ahead and deleted the Echo because he'll disappear at the end of that. And then I'm just attack.
Okay, coming for an attack here. Wow, 19. Good roll. So getting some dads, you get some good. 27 coming across here. That is going to be a 23 total points of damage. Let's take the axe slicing into its left back leg, and then takes the blow, kind of goes down a little bit, continues to kind of hold Zeph, just picks him up a little bit into the air. Second strike, now turning kind of a little bit sideways to face you. Zeph, you're getting carried in tow. The 13
What
is
am I,
gonna
ragdoll?
miss, kind of backtracks a little bit, and you could glance, just glancing against the crystal, not connecting through.
And that'll end his turn.
All right, Varys, you're up next.
I will move over here. And I'm really not prepared to fight these things. I'll try to firebolt it and see if it hits.
All right, 17. You're firing at the crystalline golem.
Yeah, I forgot to target it.
Yeah, it's okay. Your targeting was still left onto the other. So as you fire that off, you see that the 17 is going to connect, and the fire hits. It does not do any damage whatsoever.
Ooh.
These things are Varys' worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Fire,
That's
what?
it
I don't
for
know.
me.
What's going on? Zeph, you're up next.
I hate life. How damaged is this golem looking right now?
Multiple pieces have been fractured off of it. It's in a very weak condition based on how much crystal of that red is kind of hugging around it.
Yeah, I'm still grappled, right? So, can't go anywhere, so... Alright, I'm gonna move the moonbeam.
Yeah.
Right on top of it.
Okay.
And then bonus action, I'm gonna heal even more than myself. I'm gonna upcast that up to 3 though. Decent.
All right,
one.
15 back to you. Nice.
And then I think I'll stay put. So
All right, staying put, ending there. Lucar then is going to side into the flanking position with you, Maldor, taking the advantage here. They're going to swing their weapon against the crystalline structure, golem creature. 29 is going to hit, then deals 20 points of damage to the creature. You see as the creature broken apart and splintered. They then are going to come across with their secondary strike here. Still has the advantage from the flank. Again, another 29 here, so big rolls. 18 points of damage is dealt, and breaks apart the creature in the leg. As the creature is smashed apart, multiple different pieces of that red crystal fall there, and then again that same orb just kind of falls down and lands into the center part of the pile of the structure. Lucar then is going to use their remaining movement speed just to kind of spread the orb protection towards you, Zeph here. Zeph, you're no longer grappled, but you are falling a little bit. So Lucar kind of comes wrapping around and then just kind of grabs you like a little baby. Just sits you down a little bit so you don't fall to the ground. So you're upright. And that is the end of their turn. Tegan, you're up next.
Hey, Lucar's back.
What
Steven's
have you
back.
done?
Steven's back.
Steven's back.
Zeph.
Steven, you just saved Zeph's life and you grabbed them from the air like a princess in distress.
which I am.
And Tartan's being bullied. Or not Tartan, Thanos. I am out of it today. It's tired.
I'll give you a recap here in just a minute. Honestly, yeah, just a minute.
Nah,
because
it's
we're
all
gonna
good.
come around the horn. So just stay with us. Tegan, what are we doing?
Holding a dissonant whispers, and if I see the flying creature,
Okay.
and I will give Thanos bardic inspiration once again, hoping he doesn't waste it on a nat 20.
I love it. Other dark inspiration coming out.
And then we
All
will
right,
hold
all
the
right.
dissonant whispers.
Okay. Dissonant Whispers, not yet. Just for the hold there. So we'll see what happens with that. So we're coming around the top of round 4. Thanos, please make a charisma saving throw.
So over these saves, dude. Please be high enough to pass.
Wow.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
Dude, that's a success.
That's fine. It's gonna come out of the floor and chain me again.
All right. Now, at the end of your turn, combat is over. As you stare and look towards the ceiling height for the creature, you do not. Hunter's Mark still enabled. You understand that the creature is not in this space. So the Hunter's Mark allows you to really get an understanding of where this mystical mark would be, right? Because you've marked it. It is not in the space of the tower, and from around here, you can't sense that it is above or outside of the tower, right? Maybe another floor. So you just know it's not here in the space. The rest of you being on guard, right? Looking and waiting for it to reappear with your hold, unfortunately does not. And that's why we have ended.
Well, this tower is already terrible. And it's just the first floor.
Yeah, do you
Are we going up, or should we just leave? Like, this seems like another bat thing, and
I feel like
that
we
was a
should
pain.
just leave.
I mean, yeah, I'm torn. I mean, the whole idea was just to scout it. We don't really have anything in particular we need, as far as I know, from this particular tower.
The other thing is, we might just gain more information about a situation that we aren't equipped to handle at the moment.
Also true.
He changed you to the floor twice.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
I kind of want his scythe.
So this is what
Also-
happens every time we have a fight. It's just we saw it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Are
much.
Are the stairs still a slip and slide?
Yeah,
the
let's go
stairs
check out the
still
stairs.
slide.
I'm 100% on team leaving.
Yeah, I am as well.
Thanos, as you approach the stairs, you can still see that it's a slip aside, but as you approach, you see the stairs form into stairs.
Curious.
Oh, it wants us to come up. Yeah, we should definitely leave.
Clear sign. Get out of here.
I'll definitely admit being curious, but like this wasn't the goal coming in here.
Higgins
What did he
left.
say? We did. We
I'm
did
gone.
learn something. He didn't want us to see the Mohan, the Codex.
The Codex, which is what they referred to when they looked up every time, and then they also called him Nosatra. Maybe they could just be
Those
referring
are-
to the tower,
Those are
but the
people
tower
who
could also
stopped.
be named after somebody.
The door is locked, and there is no way to open the door from this side.
Our vote has been overridden, it seems.
As I go up to the door, I'm gonna use my my knock scroll to unlock it.
Okay. So activating your knock scroll as you begin to invocate and enchant, you see as the door begins to be force opened by magical means. It then begins to unopen. As it does, it seems to suppress it for a numerous amount of minutes.
Let's go. Everyone out.
Everyone out.
You don't need to move your
Oh.
tokens at this point. I'm just interpreting that you're all.
But we just
heading out of
want
the tower.
to.
Maldor
Everyone wants to stay?
No, I was just gonna wait until everyone else got out in case someone got stuck with me, so I could just dimension door with them.
Okay. So just gonna wait again. Everyone's able to get out here. We're now gonna kind of come back to our adventuring map here, and you are out of the
Locked door. I don't.
Well,
think
that
so.
was fun. Let's get the fuck out of the marshes.
I hate this place so much.
Hey, just think, Zeph wanted to investigate the other towers too.
Sure.
No thanks.
Yeah, I'm joking. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I'm just joking. Fuck off.
Tegan, I do feel like without you though, I would not have been able to get out of those chains. So thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Can
Especially
we
that second
leave?
time, you were definitely struggling more.
I love how he's like, yeah. You're welcome.
Next fucking flying thing that we see dies. I don't care what it is.
Are there so
It can't. No, you don't say that because if Grugash pulls up, we have to run.
I fucking don't care. The next fucking flying thing is going to die. Varys had better just run.
Well, you know,
Look,
who am I to think
mosquito.
that you have any concern for his life after your actions last night?
Everyone roll perceptions.
Perception.
Hear the beating of massive wings.
It's gonna be
Jesus Christ?
God, that would be so awful.
Yeah, terrible. Wow.
Wow. This
All right,
is
so you're sitting here
We're the only
having
ones
this,
that rolled decent.
you're sitting here having this very heated discussion, right? You're kind of talking on the outside of this tower. Zeph, as well as Lucario, you begin to hear the sounds of beating of thunderous wings emanating from the southern direction heading north. The density of the
Really?
fog around you, it's difficult to see. All you can do is hear.
Okay, here's the thing.
Nope, run. Run.
That's what I was about to say.
We're
Is
running.
depending on how many
We're
is
running.
coming this
Keegan's
direction.
running. Keegan's running.
Immediately, Varus polymorphs into
Keegan's
a
running.
giant eagle.
Question.
He's like, get on
Michael.
or I'm leaving.
Are we talking like one big set of wings or multiple smaller ones?
I don't know if you can hear it because my NVIDIA broadcast went like big fucking wings.
Okay. Yeah.
Varus polymorphs into a giant eagle, and he's like, I'm carrying whoever can get on. If not, I'm leaving. I don't care.
You can only carry 3 people that way.
Okay, well,
We
then
had this
whoever,
discussion.
whoever
There's 2
wants to
people
get
actually, I
on
think.
can. I'm leaving.
I mean, I'll polymorph someone else to do a giant eagle, and we could all just get the fuck out of here.
All right, go.
Can we outrun a dragon? I feel like we're safer in the trees.
The dragon is coming to investigate the tower. If we're not here, we're good.
Yeah,
Just run.
let's just
Just
get the
start running.
fuck out.
Just start running.
So we're both. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, Thanos will
Right.
lead everyone
I'm not
into the
waiting.
woods.
I'm leaving. Like, I'm picking up 2 people, and I'm leaving. I'm not waiting.
Yeah, I'm going to do my steps of night thing again and then start dash flying, just to get away as fast as
Isn't
possible.
it daylight?
It's daylight
Yeah.
right now
Middle of
outside.
the day.
Yeah, we don't have dim light here in the conditions, so you can't do steps at night.
Thanos will run into the woods with whoever wants to follow, since difficult
follow
terrain doesn't bother
Thanos.
me.
Okay. Well, right now in this bar, right, it said it's really tall and like intense grass. There are some trees around here on the south side that kind of crest over the riverside. So it comes into the position of where direction, like where are you headed? You headed north, you headed northeast, you're going towards the river, like we got to cross the body of water, or are we just heading directly north into the grass?
I feel like north into the grass, because we know there's a way to cross north somewhere without like trying to spend the time swimming, right? Because we crossed that
Yeah.
earlier. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, like
I would-
this tributary on this side is not as large. It's also not as fast moving, so it's easier to cross.
Yeah,
I would head
assume we
north
wouldn't be
until I could
trying to,
cross.
swim the river in a hurry. That would be a pain.
yes.
But Tegan said he was going to polymorph. If we've got enough to
I heard-
fly everybody, we could. Just
Are we
fly across the
polymorphing
river
everyone?
and get the fuck out? Yeah.
Well,
You only need
polymorphing
2.
one person and then the other
Yeah.
one polymorphing
Varus,
themselves.
Varus, and
2
somebody else.
polymorphs, 2
Yeah.
giant eagles.
Yeah.
Then yeah, everyone can go. at that
Yeah.
point.
just
Okay.
Fly us across
Fuck
the
it,
river.
let's
Get
do
the
it.
fuck out of here.
So picking yourselves up into the eagle form, 1 riding, 1 picking up, right? And then there's 2, so that's 2, 2, and then 2, total 6, right? So you're able to then begin to take flight slowly and surely. It's a heavy load for these giant eagles, so it's not like you're having to move like half speed with your flight because you're overloaded at that point. You begin to kind of move in the direction of north and then slightly east because you want to get into the trees. You want to get the canopies. You don't want to be in the air, right? So you're coming and you just get over the water and you can see on the tower crunching into the actual stonework and the shadow now of a massive gargantuan plus size black dragon. As it does, it like landed gripping itself into the tower and then it's like slithering around, right, wrapping around the tower. And you're just seeing the shadows of this. And it seems to kind of clutch itself, and then you now fly across the river into the trees, and 1 from remaining roar into the backdrop of the fog is given to you before you disappear out of line of sight completely and into the trees. The creatures around you at this point have slightly ceased. So no birds, no nothing, right? It's vacant of all of that. Continue your polymorph for a time, right, to get as far away as possible, as well as not being impeded perhaps by the ground, right? Flight is just as easily as difficult into the brambles. So you're at a point of like maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. You don't hear the sounds of thunderous flaps. The creatures then begin to turn, like you now start to hear them again, right? And you're realizing that you're moving just as slow as you would, and actually might move faster if you were on the ground because of how thick the canopy trees are, unless you wanted to get above the trees. and fly over them, but that is dangerous.
Yeah, I'll land on the ground and revert back to my normal form.
So about how far did we get?
So you're across the river, and at this point, with the flight speed, you might be upwards. I would say 'cause the Giant Eagles move pretty fast, but you're half speed. Based on mileage, I'm gonna put you probably at 2 maybe miles, 3 miles away. Is that accurate?
As we land and everyone
Dash.
transforms back, I'm just gonna say, well, we made the correct decision. If we would have gone upstairs, 100%, Varys probably would be dead right now.
Well, I think we've satisfied the curiosity that we can't monkey with the congruence of the towers without involving the dragon.
Right.
They ran to Daddy the minute that they got threatened.
Did Grugash come from the south?
The
Yeah,
Grugash came from the south. Yep,
Yeah.
flew over the river in the direction of the tower.
Yep.
Although, no, it's not worth it. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Well, wait, let's go back.
No, out of character, I was just thinking, like, if he runs at just the sight of us to wherever the fuck we're seen,
So he's
splitting the party's
trying
not a good
to
idea.
take me out, basically, is what I would imagine.
If they see Varys and the rest of us go for the congruence.
Are you trying to use Varys as bait?
I don't like that idea at all.
I mean, I applaud your craftiness.
See, the problem I have with the whole agreement with Orpheus thing, though, is that from the wording, it sounds like he doesn't even allow in self-defense. Like, if he comes to us first, from the wording,
Oh,
it sounds
yeah.
like he can't.
No,
That's
it-
that's.
I mean,
annoying.
it was honestly pretty straightforward. He said, "Get the fuck out of the marsh and don't hurt the dragon." I mean, it's
yeah,
not-
he didn't fuck about. So, I'm done with this goddamn marsh.
All right. Well, I am exhausted again. That was my first time being transformed into anything that was not myself. I feel very exposed, and having another person ride on top of me was very uncomfortable. So I would like to rest.
Okay.
That's fair.
like a small nap, power nap.
Yeah, we sleeping for the night, or do you want to just rest for a bit?
It's not
I mean, we could travel for a little bit, but I feel like we expended a lot of our, abilities earlier. So
Well, I mean, it's still early today, right? We had how much?
Yeah.
We don't know. That's the issue because time travel is different, or time changes.
You've
differently.
traveled a number of miles at this point. You imagine if you were trying to keep track, keen mind, you would probably put you at just before noon is how it feels. You still have a good afternoon, evening of movement to do.
I mean, we could probably go slower if need be, but I feel like the more ground we can put behind us in this marsh, the better.
agree.
Yeah, let's do that.
okay, fine. I'm not going to argue. I just want to leave.
Be on like high alert, but
Yeah.
travel slower.
Well,
So, how did everyone enjoy the tour of my home?
I hate it here.
Could use some reading.
The hosts suck.
There's a reason everyone is drugged.
I mean, the prerequisite is literally you have to be high in order to enter. So,
So, like Florida?
what's
I
Florida?
thought it was Colorado.
As I say that, fucking Lucar brings out the fucking the leaf.
Does that
Starts choking
mean?
away.
Puff, puff.
Does that
pass.
mean Thanos is a Florida man?
That would explain everything, wouldn't it? It's why you never see him. There's just stories of what Thanos has done.
Honestly, if
Florida man
Thanos,
teleports into
yeah,
cube.
Deuce, if you played Thanos with like a Cajun accent, I think it would be awesome. Like just absolutely.
Absolutely Bayou born.
Bayou.
By
I'm
you.
about to roll for this.
Yeah. He got it. That's good.
Oh man.
Okay. Well, we can fast travel at this point. We don't need to dwindle unless you all want to have some more conversation amongst yourselves. So interrupt at any point. Right, interrupt at any point.
We
So
continue talking about how much this place sucks.
getting a short rest, and then pressing forward most likely is a good place. You want to get as far as possible, right? You don't want to stop here. That is still still close to the tower, right? So you continue to move until you feel exhausted. You then set up your tiny hut and get a good long rest. So everyone now can take a long rest. You are to the south side along the riverbank there. You imagine you're due south of the altar of flowers at this point. The river is extremely wide, and the sounds nearby you are there, and you're getting comfort, right? The water, undead creatures around you, everything seems to be okay. The fog still riddles there. And we are now coming to another day, and in this day, it is still light. It has yet to
By the way,
change.
did we ever get a description of what the altar of flowers was actually?
Yeah, we went there.
It's an altar, yeah, covered in flowers. That's where the entrance to the Salinor's hideout was.
It's literally a bramble of a collection of different flowers on top of a grassy knoll, and then there is a bowl that sits on
Right.
top of the altar. But it seemed that there was no real. When you were there, actually, they didn't even use it to do any sort of the transport or summoning of anything. It just was there.
Also, Thanos murdered a score of pixies.
That's true.
They stood no chance.
I think you're trying to grab him in a bag, right? Like.
Oh yeah, Lucar tried to
Lucar
grab
was
him in a
catching
bag.
fireflies.
The
yeah.
guy was trying to
Yeah.
catch them.
Yeah, then his bag got
Thanos was just
destroyed.
murdering him.
Thanos is murdering hordes, and then Lucar was trying to, capture them. It's a good time. We've had a fun time in the marshes. I don't know what you all
I hate it here so much.
These are the best, worst enemies I've ever fought.
So, continuing again with the fast travel, we are now passing outside of the marsh, and when we begin to get to that point where the broken bridge is that crosses there to the direction of Norfolk, you're at kind of the barrier of the fog, and as you do, you kind of put your hand through, and it's like rolling back, and it seems now to let you kind of push your hand. It's letting you kind of go through. And as that has happened, you notice that the light transversing through the fog is becoming rapid towards night. So as you all begin to pass outside of the marsh, and the sounds of that marsh dwindling, and the sounds of the stream and the water taking the forefront, you are now brought into night. And it is dark, in fact, very dark. And you've traveled much of the 8-hour period or 12 hours of the day, and it's dark now. And as you begin to get a sense of time and presence of where you're currently at, I'm now going to change the clock to showcase to you in terms of the date. You're going to get an error. It is the 2nd of the next month.
Holy shit!
So as you look up into the sky with open stars and slight overcast, those who are good with nature as well as looking at the stars are able to understand that it has been a number of days. In fact, it has been, since you entered in the 18th of Sephiros, has been over 12 to 14 days worth of time that you have been inside of the marsh. Now, strangely enough, that doesn't really quite add up because you had long periods of day and long periods of night. So somewhere in there of your travels, time moved extremely fast.
While we were in the Salinar. That makes sense.
Get across the broken bridge, aimed at the remote fishing village that still is riddled with destruction as it did before. The roofs destroyed, the walls, right, the doors, nothing has changed. The overcast, clear skies, it's slight chilly. You're feeling yourselves worn, tired, ready for a rest. Fortunately, you do have these buildings, these structures. They have beds in them. They have blankets and other things you can saddle yourself up with a rumen board, getting some fermented fish from the stash if you'd like to get yourself fed, as well as a few other perhaps looting of the underbellies of these buildings and their cellars for grains and other sorts of vegetables and fruit. Before you all decide to take your next adventure headed up river of this small, I should say stream, not river, this tributary of the Farron, begin to head in the direction of the pass of Unyielding. We'll see what lies in store for you on the next session. That is where we're going to go and end it. How does everyone feel?
Tegan
Everything
is
sucks.
absolutely ecstatic that he doesn't have to sleep in mud tonight.
This was such a roller coaster of the marshes. I'm just gonna burn them all down.
Dude, I was like, we're
I'm just
leaving.
gonna
we're
That's what I
leaving,
said
we're
we
not
should
talking,
do
we're
6
leaving.
weeks ago.
Down to the ground.
We should just buy out the market of Alchemist Fire.
I just couldn't be insisted on enough that we weren't staying, that we were leaving.
Here's the thing, right? Is like we don't know time-wise when Varys made that deal, so the fort could be gone, and Varys just sold his soul to protect a pile of rubble.
That is true.
That's valid.
Man, make me feel even worse about my decision.
And we're gonna go to this passive unyielding before we ever go back to Fort Farron. So you're still not gonna know until like
Like another 10 sessions? Yeah, probably.
Just
Yeah.
send your little bird buddy. He'll go tell you.
he can only go 1,000
I
feet.
think there's like a range, yeah.
Yeah. Or is it 1,000 meters?
Plus,
Either
me and
way, I
him-
mean, it's
you know,
not very
me and
far.
him don't always communicate in the best way, which is like him yelling at me.
Well-
and me being like, oh, okay.
For the familiar, it's 100 feet for his being able to see through it thing.
Communicate through and see
Yeah.
through. Both of those are limited based on
Yeah.
space, and then you can actually send your familiar outwards for as far, and they'll return eventually.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll pop out Alexander.
Fuck you want?
My God.
I'm
Fly to
surprised you're
Fort
still
Farron.
alive right now.
Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty crazy. Go to Fort Farron, see if it's still okay. Come back.
You gonna fucking be here when I come back? When are you gonna be?
I don't know.
How long would it take you to fly
How am I
there?
supposed to find you?
I don't know. Figure it out.
Actually, that's a question. That's a question I was going to ask. Actually,
Max is so done with
Like,
everything.
he's had it.
hey Michael, I have a question.
God.
Oh, no.
Mechanically speaking, if he sends,
He sends if you send Alexander to the fort and you time
Yeah.
it to when you imagine Alexander would be there or get there, you could technically dismiss
yeah, that's
Alexander
what I was going to ask.
and then reform them instead of taking the flight back. So that would be your answer. Be like, I will stay at Fort Farron after, get there, stay there for a little while, and then I will dismiss you and return.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say any of that. I'm just gonna
Okay.
figure it out.
Our poor
said
sweet
what I
little
said.
boy. Our poor sweet little Varys.
The reason that
Dark.
the reason that even worked for you that it wouldn't work for most people in most games is because yours talks.
Yeah.
It
What
sure
if we did
does.
there's benefits to Alexander talking. See? Benefits we're realizing. It's nice.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Varys, you say the word, I can use him as target practice. He'll learn his lesson.
1,500 nights, so 1,590 experience each, but you had 40,484 experience total.
I hate that the adding thing is not working.
Oh,
I have yet to update any of the modules. I've been kind of letting them, get to a good stable place. I haven't even upgraded the Foundry version to some of the newer ones for remove bugs and things. I'm really just kind of allowing things to correct themselves, and then I'll update. I have heard that the Tidy 5e sheet has fixed that problem like 2 patches ago. So
Yeah, that's such a weird issue too.
yeah, it's definitely a strange one for sure. Anyway, thanks so much for watching the stream. We really appreciate it. Ill-fated, everyone. So that's really awesome. And they conclude their
Such a-
session 29. So
well-oiled machine we are.
Well-oiled machine. So next week we now come to that decision. We could do it on the stream as well. So I've been trying to follow along in terms of the shout outs, right? Of what we could what we got going on. So from the chat, it looked like we don't know. Right. So is anybody 100% I can't do it?
Oh, for next week?
Yeah, both those days, as far as I know, I'm open. But like I said, I don't actually know if I'm going to be scheduled given a Saturday until the Wednesday before.
Yeah, I
The
guess
24th,
so.
I should be good though, because it's Christmas Eve. But
Yeah, no. So holidays. So how I do holidays is that if one person can't do it, then I don't run the session because it's a holiday, right? And we're doing a Sunday screw for Hanukkah. So if I don't want players to feel torn to spend time with holidays to play the game. So if one person, if you want to spend time with family and friends or anything, and you can't play, just state it. So is anybody 100% that they're unwilling and they can't play, right?
unless I get scheduled, I'm good. So
Yeah, I mean,
As far as I know, I'm
mean,
free on Christmas Eve.
Free, everybody?
I might be driving home, and if
Okay.
so, I won't be here. But
That's a
I-
long fucking drive. You gonna get there in February?
right, right. I'll probably make up my mind later today or tomorrow.
Okay, well, get back to us then, Steven, so we can figure that out. No worries. Again, no worries if you want to. I just, me personally, I usually have stuff going on holidays. This year I don't, so I'm putting my foot down to play or not. So could be cool. So for watching the team, thanks so much. Really appreciate it, and hope maybe we'll be back next week. If not, no worries. Catch us again, and then you guys stick around to watch the next group at 4:00. We'll be playing again in another hour. So ill fade, everyone. Awesome job in the Barces. Yeah.
You
You're so
accomplished
sad. Look at their faces right
nothing.
now.
We did absolutely nothing for the last 5 sessions.
There was some
essentially.
light
Six
side.
That's
sessions.
great. Come on.
That's not true. We argued a lot.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Honestly, for
Bye.
us, we didn't argue that much.
That's true.
Bye, chat.
Stay,
Uh,
chat.
I mean, I died, so